From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Swamp creature Amy Berman Jackson, the Obama-oid hemorrhoid in black robes, was always going to throw the book at Roger Stone because that's what she does as a political show trial commissar, a political creature of tyranny, a swamp creature par excellence. Well, she just came out about 30 minutes ago before they went to recess and signaled she's going to throw the book at Stone 7, 9, or 11 years. She says witness tampering is very, very serious. Yes. What a fraud. What a joke. And the president absolutely must pardon Roger Stone. Even Judge Napolitano has come out to say this whole thing's been a fiasco against Stone. He's been totally railroaded, and the way to end it all is to pardon him. Here's the headline up on Infowars.com. Judge in Stone show trial says she's going to throw the book at him. 6 to 11 years. Watch live. Infowars' Owen Schroyer is live on the ground with exclusive coverage. We have our own video feeds, our own audio feeds. That's how we bypass the system. I know most of you know that, but everyone should, via email, via text message, via word of mouth, spread that live link at newswars.com and infowars.com. Judge in Stone trial says she's going to throw the book at him 6 to 11 years. Now, he's been there all morning. He's been talking to people outside. He was on the David Knight show in the last few hours with David doing a great job. Owen Schroyer and crew are there at the federal courthouse, deep in the swamp, deep in Mordor. They've just gone to recess, and the word is Owen. I know you've got information for us as well. The word is Owen. I know you've already had your mic attacked for the second time again. We'll get to that as well. That's in the news. You were just attacked again by the man that they allow to have the giant inflatable rat right there in front of the courthouse, but Stone doesn't get his free speech. But she has signaled that she's about to come back from recess and throw the book at him. I predict she gives him 7 years. She said, oh, it could be 11 to make it sound like she's lenient and gracious for giving him 7 years, I'm predicting, in the next hour. Owen Schroyer.
Well, Alex, you know, it's incredible, too, because this is an obvious mistrial just based on the technicalities alone. The jury was obviously corrupt. The jurors committed crimes, in fact, when they lied on the jury questionnaire about running for office and about posting publicly about this case. So the jury's proven corrupt. That is beyond a doubt. The prosecutors all came from the Mueller investigation. That's a politically charged prosecution team. That should not have been allowed. It's all been allowed by the Obama-appointed judge, Amy Berman Jackson, which gets to the larger point, which I think Trump knows all of Obama's crimes with the illegal spying and such and what happened in Crimea. And so he's trying to do everything to protect his case, and he's maybe even pulling the strings on Berman Jackson. But, you know, Alex, I have to say I'm a little confused by the people out here because they claim to be out here fighting corruption. They claim to be out here standing for truth, but yet they're on the side of corruption, and they have no facts to back up what they're doing out here. What's happened to Roger Stone is the corruption. There's no doubt. Just look at what's happened. They still fall for Russian collusion, Alex. 3 years of a Mueller investigation. They anally probed Trump politically. They find nothing. 2 times they tried to
And now they're
him.
saying, trying to take us off the air as a consolation prize, the New York Times, and putting Stone in jail. They call it a consolation prize. And this is their headhunting, their victory. And you've got salivating, I notice mainly white leftist women out there just rubbing their legs together. I can see it going on with just glee, like they're at a bachelorette party or something, and just giggling and cooing. This is such a big victory for them.
Well, and that's what I don't understand. I don't understand how these people feel like they're having a victory when what happened to Roger Stone will happen to them next. If Trump was really this corrupt dictator that everyone claims that he is, they'd all be in jail. We wouldn't be dealing with this Berman Jackson. We wouldn't be dealing with Bob
Oh, yeah, they
Mueller.
say he's attacking the press. They're the ones attacking the press. Look at that Jackson slug. America's awake, you witch. So you go ahead and fill your hand politically. America's awake, swamp dropping. We'll be back in 60 seconds. We have our reporters on the ground in D.C., Owen Schroyer, chief amongst them. The judge went to recess about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, she said that she signaled that witness tampering, which he didn't do, is very serious, so 6 to 11 years. She's now returned, and we have live time tweeting by reporters in the room. Jackson says it's nice that Credico has forgiven Stone and that he didn't believe that Stone would really kill him or his dog. That says more about Credico than it does Stone, the judge says. By the way, Stone was saying, I'll take that dog away from you. You're not feeding it enough. Because according to Stone, Credico was having problems, not attacking Credico. I think Credico's done the right thing coming out and saying what's happened. I'll just leave it at that. I have been talking to Credico, but that's off record. Jackson says Stone knew he could not take the fifth before Congress without hurting the Trump campaign. So he lied and then made efforts to make sure the lies were not exposed. Jackson continues to lay out the case in which Stone lied and obstructed Congress in the process, also describes in detail the pressuring of Randy Credico to take the fifth and stonewall Congress and the DOJ. Talking about do a Godfather maneuver. So here's footage of them walking in today. That just reminded me. Credico said he was waiting to come on until today. So I just realized during the next break, in fact, I'm going to let Owen Schroyer report here for a few minutes. I'm going to call Credico and get him on. I know he wants to come on right after. Again, Randy Credico is the talk show host that is the main guy pushing to get Assange out of jail, out of political prisonership by the system. He's been on InfoWars before, been on the War Room, and he got crosswise with Stone, bantering back and forth with Tough Guy Talk, and he now just thinks it's terrible what's happening to Stone. And the judge says she doesn't care. And so look for him to be on the show today. I expect the judge to throw Roger directly into jail today to, again, just give them the consolation prize, as the New York Times calls it, of somebody convicted for Russia meddling, even though there's no proof of the case. Bill Maher last Friday said, Roger Stone was convicted of giving WikiLeaks to the Russians. What? No, there's no proof of that. Absolutely not one micron, not one atom of proof. And even that disinfo is backwards. Supposedly the Russians got it and gave it to Stone, but Bill Maher can't even get it right because he's a comedian. But that's where we supposedly get our news today, is from the comedians on the left who get up there and say, Alex Jones admits he's a performance artist and everything he says is fake. Really, where's the video? Where's the text? Never said it. But again, that's how they deceive. It's how they lie, and everybody knows they're a pack of liars except for the weakest-minded people. So Owen Schroyer, they're there in front of the kangaroo courthouse with the kangaroo judge, the swamp dropping, who in live time, we've got her licking her chops and trying to basically just spend hours and hours demonizing him before she sentences him. Normally a judge might say 30 seconds, a minute's worth of stuff. She's just babbling on desperately to prop up the facade of the giant Russiagate that was meant to discredit the 2016 election and the great populist victory. Owen Schroyer.
Well, and just another example of what you were talking about with the fake news out there. I had a guy that was arguing that Roger Stone posted a picture of Berman Jackson with her head in the crosshairs. Now, obviously that's fake news, but that's what they do, is they say stuff like that. People don't research it, and then they assume it. When he saw the picture, he realized he was wrong. But Alex, you know, I didn't come out here to argue or debate or engage with the brainwashed masses. I really didn't. I came here to report on the Roger Stone trial and, you know, follow this story on the ground. You know, my former co-host, you know, I'd call him a friend. And I think maybe this is like a shortcoming I have, Alex. For some reason, I'm like obsessed with trying to show these people the light. I'm like obsessed with trying to get them to see the truth, to break through their brainwashing, to break through the propaganda that's corrupted their mind. And I think that's my fault. I really shouldn't care so much. I shouldn't get so mad. I shouldn't feel some weird conviction to try to prove to them how they've been deceived. And in a weird way, Trump needs to take that same mindset. You know, this thing should be shut down, Alex. This is ridiculous. This judge needs to be off the bench. All these prosecutors and jurors need to be investigated immediately. The jurors that are lawyers need to be disbarred immediately. And even Judge Napolitano said that what the foreman did was so illegal, she belongs in jail. Okay, so They can sit here and they can demonize and attack and try to put Roger Stone in jail, and they'll do all kinds of illicit and illegal activity to do it. And I guess my biggest frustration, Alex, is that the people that hate Roger Stone or whatever, they want to see him locked up. They don't understand it will happen to you next, especially if you think Trump is this corrupt dictator like you're making him out to be. You'll be the ones that are up there next, like Roger Stone. And so it's this weird like level of frustration that we just need to get over and just pile drive through this propaganda.
That's right, Owen. And let's remember, it was 3 months ago that Roger was last on the show, and he's not been able to speak really since then. But everybody else can attack him and demonize him. More coming in. This is from the courtroom being tweeted. I'm not here to judge Roger Stone, the person, Jackson says. That's for a higher authority. Should say that the provocateur and brawler comments came from letters sent to the judge. Jackson is shifting to Stone's character, saying he cultivated an image of a provocateur and a bare-knuckle brawler. Also cites the beautiful letter of Stone's stepdaughter, who spoke of Stone's kindness and generosity. So the judge is just knows she's under political attack for being an absolute political monster, and she's just trying to predicate the case of why she's about to give him the biggest jail sentence she can. So when Trump pardons him, everyone can make it look like it's corruption is the reason and not justice, when it's the president's power to do it. He pardoned or gave clemency, cut the sentence down, Blagojevich, and Blagojevich was out in 1 hour and back on an airplane flying home to Chicago. That's the power of the executive of we the people. We elected the president. He wields our veto power over the witch judges, over the out-of-control systems. Owen Schroyer.
Well, and I think, too, that the Blagojevich and the NYPD commissioner pardon, I think that there's something else behind that. I think that they're part of another investigation that's going on, specifically in New York, into the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, absolutely. Blagojevich knows where the bodies are buried, and is going to be singing like a happy little canary.
So, but anyway, Alex, I just think that it's sick that we're experiencing people that fall for all these lies and celebrate it. And then they're trying to harass me right now. Again, they're celebrating.
Let's talk to him. Let's go talk to him, because I know somebody screamed at Roger that he was a traitor, that he's a Russian.
Because he was convicted by 12 people for committing the crimes. Why are
Bunch
you
of
pushing
Democrats.
Charged with assault, motherfucker? Don't be.
Don't open my mic, bro.
They're attacking him. He didn't touch them. We had to cut the audio off. They assaulted him. It's all on video. And then they said that he attacked them. Look at the crazed eyes of these people. 12 people, a bunch of Democrats, a bunch of Democrat operatives. He's about to get pardoned. Look at this guy. Thinks he's so tough.
Radical leftists are out of control, bro. These radical leftists are out of control.
Oh, and what just happened to you? It looked like it looked like they came after you.
This is what the fake news has done to this country. This is what the Democrats.
Did they just grab our mic off the... Just lost audio. All right, let Owen know they need to reconnect. The wire got pulled out. We're going to go back to Owen in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, they want to come over and yell stuff at us. We turn to talk to them. They lunge and say we're assaulting them. That's how all of this works. I'll be out at a Trump rally, and the Democrats will come over and will punch me in the back and then say I assaulted them, or they will pinch me, or they will try to kick my feet out and they go, you assaulted me. Fundamentally, from the top of the Democratic Party and the Chi-Com funders down to the lowest level, they know they're liars. They know it's all about deception. And they've been trained that their enemy is the American people. They have been trained for this. So quite the circus going on. I'm going to ask Owen, as soon as he gets his equipment fixed, for them lunging at it, to go around and talk to some of these people. The problem is we'll have to have the delay beefed up in there. We can turn it up to like 15 seconds so that we can delay out all of the cuss words, because these people don't know anything but cuss words and hate. When they see an American flag, they go crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And I was just talking to Owen Schroyer during the break, you know, the man that takes action, the man that went up there and confronted Nadler on the fake impeachment and how it was illegal treason. Well, he's got a plan. Owen Schroyer is about to take action. Owen, what are you about to do?
All right, Alex. Well, here's the deal. I'm sick of being censored. I'm sick of these lies. And quite frankly, I'm sick of the bullying that goes on out here. So It's time for us to take a courageous stand and execute our free speech in front of this courthouse. So let's do it.
Again, Owen Schroyer, there's the inflatable rat that's allowed to be there, but then they say Stone people have no voice. There's a whole bank of cameras there waiting for the prosecutors to come out with a one-sided story, about 50 cameras. Owen Schroyer is now getting in front of them. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Owen Schroyer, and I am formerly a co-host with Roger Stone. And we have been censored all over the internet in a denial of our free speech. And Roger has been illegally gagged by a corrupt judge, a total violation of his free speech. And if people are worried about corruption and injustice in this country, it's not what's going on in the White House right now. It's what's going on in these courtrooms right now to Roger Stone. That's the corruption. An illegal jury with a foreman who lied twice on her questionnaire. This should be a mistrial based on a technicality immediately. Why isn't it? Because Roger Stone is a political prisoner of a corrupt deep state. That's the truth. And if you want to know about Russian collusion, it all came from Hillary Clinton. If you want to know about Ukrainian quid pro
Pan
quo,
the camera towards the cameras.
from Joe Biden. And if you want to know why the WikiLeaks were effective in 2016 is because it was truthful. The reason why the WikiLeaks affected the election is because it exposed the corruption of Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. And that's why it influenced the election. And by the way, WikiLeaks made a statement, it didn't come from Russia. In fact, it came most likely from the DCCC. So I think it's sad. And you know what's even funnier, Alex? They're sitting here making fun of InfoWars when these people are so cowardly, they won't even stand up for free speech.
All they do is follow orders. They're the dinosaur media. They're a joke. Tell them about Roger and what Roger really stands for, and they're not going to silence the American people.
All Roger Stone stands for is America first. All Roger Stone stands for is the truth. He's sick of the bad trade deals. That's why he stood up for Donald Trump. Yeah, and
Keep
these
going.
people want
Pan and show the
locked up.
leftist on the right-hand side.
If you don't see how dangerous that is, you are the problem in this country. If you celebrate this corrupt judge and this corrupt jury and the corrupt Mueller prosecuting team, you're the problem. 3 years of a Mueller investigation, no Russian collusion, zero proof, no evidence. 2 tries to impeach Trump, acquitted on both. And you still come out here arguing cases that have been totally disproven. All the cases against Trump have been disproven, and Roger sits behind here. Hillary Clinton belongs in jail. James Comey belongs in jail. John Brennan belongs in jail.
It's the Democrats that hate America. They're the ones sold out to communist China.
Jail. Those are the corrupt officials, not Donald Trump, not Roger Stone. America's back. America's back. This is what America looks like. Get used to it.
Everybody knows it's the Democrats that are the traitors and hate America. Look at these guys that have traitor signs.
Everybody knows how corrupt the government was before Trump got in office. America's back. You better get used to it.
Keep going, Owen.
Yeah, you want to see an innocent man go to jail. You celebrate like a Nazi. You come out here like a Nazi and celebrate an innocent man going to jail. An innocent man.
Ignore the rat people. Ignore the rat guy and go back to the media. Go back to the corrupt corporate media. Look at those stooges waiting for their orders to crucify Stone, waiting to say that it's all certified, that Russians run everything, but none of it's working. It's all falling apart. Owen, give it to them both barrels politically. Hit them with the truth.
I hope that the media in this country stands up for the truth and doesn't go along with the lies about Donald Trump. I hope that the media in this country, yeah, a traitor, huh? I'm standing up for America and I'm the traitor. You're the traitor. You're the traitor, sir. Just look at everything that the Democrats stand for. Open borders. I mean, give me a break.
Look at Democrat cities.
Oh, yeah, Pizzagate. This guy wants to make fun of me for Pizzagate. How about ABC News spiked the Epstein story to protect Hillary Clinton? How about Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself? How about Anthony Weiner? How about Laura Silsby?
How about we've been vindicated?
Why don't you cover Laura Silsby trying to cross the border of Haiti with children that were undocumented? Yeah, laugh all you want. These people laugh,
Laugh
Alex.
all you want. Your pedophile rings are coming out, scumbag.
Laugh about child sex trafficking. Epstein kills himself, and mainstream news covers it up. They covered up Epstein for decades. Epstein was working with the
ABC
Clintons.
knew it was with the Clintons running children, and you covered it up. The whole corporate media.
To protect Hillary Clinton. Amy Rohrbach admitted it. You've been exposed.
Yeah, shame on you. Tell them for me. Shame on you, MSM.
Election be lost.
Shame on you, MSM, covering up the Clinton pedophile rings.
What a shame. You come out here and demonize InfoWars, but all the mainstream news covered up pedophile rings. All the mainstream news covered up Jeffrey Epstein.
Look at you.
All part in it. All of you.
You're all
You can
complicit.
me and make fun of me, but I'm out here standing for truth.
Tell them Infowars.com lives.
You won't even cover child sex trafficking. You all covered up the Epstein story. You all covered up Wienergate. You all covered for Hillary Clinton, who's now in Puerto Rico robbing them blind, just like she did to Haiti. And you won't cover any of it because you're comfortable. So get out of your comfort zones or watch this country go the way of what happened to Roger Stone.
And Owen, let them know that it doesn't matter their kangaroo court convicts him. Everybody knows it's a fraud, and the president's going to pardon him.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens when Roger Stone gets his pardon. These people will all freak out. Roger Stone will get a pardon. But you know what? He shouldn't even need a pardon, Alex. This should already be a mistrial. The jury foreman lied twice.
Look,
on
they
the
admit
question.
it. But look, the left's there. The paid right-wing watch is there that says Putin's lapdog. They admit that hoax is already done, but they're still there with old orders from the system that doesn't exist. Owen Schroyer, listen, you got a lot of cameras on you. Listen to me. I'm going to go to break for 3 minutes. Owen, you just keep going because you're on a bunch of the streams right now out there. You keep going for 4 minutes, 3 minutes. We'll come back from break, and we'll go right to Owen Schroyer. But keep letting them have it, Owen. Again, folks, Owen Schroyer is in front of the D.C. federal courthouse where Judge Berman Jackson, the Obama dropping, is getting ready to crucify Roger Stone. So you just keep going throughout the break as you're being streamed everywhere else, Owen, and we'll come back to you in a few minutes, okay? Keep going. Yeah, and we lost our audio feed to him, so just tell Owen, keep going, because everybody else is streaming him out there, okay? Or we'll reconnect or whatever we need to. This is real TV. This is real radio. This is hardcore. This is America fighting back. This is the resistance. This is the house you built. InfoWars. Spread the live links at Infowars.com/show. February 20th on this Thursday, Global Edition. I am your host, Alex Jones, here in Austin, Texas. And our daring team, led by Owen Schroyer, is on the ground circling the federal courthouse where they've had the sham kangaroo trial run by Democratic operatives publicly. Owen was just at one gaggle of reporters at the front as former co-host with Roger Stone of the War Room, and he is now marching the other side where Fox News and others have their live streams. So we now take you live to deep in the swamp, there with the Capitol in the background. Owen, you had another idea, another area, some more intel you've got. Tell us what you're about to do.
So we're going to the other side of the court building now, where there is a media scrum. Last we were here. I think the reason why most of the media is over on the other side is because everyone's anticipating that that's where Roger Stone will come out of the building. But there has been another media scrum out here. And so we're going to go check this one out.
Well, there's also a good chance he's just going to clap him in irons today to, again, make it look illegitimate if Trump pardons him. This is all political theater. They need something to prop up their collapsed Russiagate facade.
You know, that's actually a good point. And, you know, normally there'd be basically a grace period before they send Roger to jail. But you might be right. They may need those optics of Roger being arrested to save this fake case against him.
That's a big courthouse. You've been walking around for about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you're approaching up. You just let them know you're as a co-host. You've got more to say than anybody out there. They're all sitting there waiting for the feds to come lie to them. You get in there and let them have it. Owen Schroyer, live at the swamp, entering another press gaggle for radio listeners. Live feeds, band.video. Owen, you're in charge.
Trying to figure out where to go here.
Just march right in front of those cameras. And Schroyer here. We're just waiting to see what happens. You just go around like I do at these press conferences, just announce.
Yeah, that's a police.
Say it again. Yeah, I wouldn't go past the police line, but I would just make your announcement there. That's a good spot.
Co-host, we have been censored off the internet in a denial of our free speech. And Roger Stone has been denied his free speech by a corrupt judge that has gagged him in this case. Now, this is totally illegal. The judge has allowed a corrupt jury to take place in this case as well, where the foreman lied on the questionnaire twice. That is illegal. On a technicality alone, this case should already have been thrown out for a mistrial. But because this is politically motivated to get Trump, they're allowing an illegal case and an illegal jury.
Owen, breaking news. Let everybody know you're on Fox News right now. He was just given he was given 40 months.
From the Mueller team that were put on this prosecution team to get Roger Stone. You have a judge, clearly politicized, operating as Obama's judge to get Roger Stone. And so all of America...
Cut away for a moment. His earpiece is out. Owen doesn't know this. He's a man in the arena. They just sentenced him to 40 months in jail. The latest is unfolding right now. Let's go ahead and actually cut to the Fox News live feed that Owen was just live on a moment ago. Let's cut to Fox News.
With his attorneys today. So what was the actual reaction when we found out it was 3 years and 4 months and not anywhere near the 7 to 9 years that originally had been prosecutor's recommendation?
Well, his defense team breathed a sigh of relief. Stone did not make much emotion from what I'm reading here. And, you know, it's also customary for the defendant usually to speak before the judge just before they're sentenced. He was given that opportunity today, but he declined. He said that he had nothing further to add. Roger Stone is not someone that shies away from comments or the camera, as we know. So it remains to be seen, though, if he'll say something when he leaves here. I suspect he'll probably still be under that gag order because this is still an ongoing case. The judge still has jurisdiction.
Yeah, don't you love it? Everybody else can talk, but the innocent person now given 3+ years.
If he'll say something, but right now we know that it's 3 years and 4 months, 40
Well, it
months.
shows they know how weak they are. Owen's got good instincts, but his earpiece is out. Get a hold of the camera guy and tell Drew to tell him to put his earpiece back in. He can either stay there, but I have a sneaking suspicion whatever's going to happen is going to happen at actually the front. So I think it's Owen's call. He probably needs to go back to the front now.
Shouldn't we be glad that corruption was exposed? No. Instead, you fall for mainstream media propaganda and communist propaganda from the Democrat Party, putting crosshairs politically on their opposition. And that's what's happened here today. And if there's any justice left in this country, the people that will end up being indicted and
Let's get Tyler
arrested,
Nixon.
Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and the list goes on.
Get Credico on right now.
In their texts, talking about getting Trump out of office as federal officials. This case should have already been thrown out for a mistrial. That's what's going on in America today. That's what's going on in America today. Roger Stone is innocent, and you know it.
If you're gonna hate, then
you cannot disagree with facts.
You can disagree.
No, you cannot.
Stop disagreeing with hate.
You
man.
cannot disagree with facts.
Okay, Owen, so you see this guy just ran on up in the middle center gaggle area. Let's not have an argument with this guy. We're going to cut away from this, try to get a hold of his camera guy because Owen's earpiece is not in. Again, Roger Stone has been given 3+ years in prison. So we're going to cut away from this now. And we're going to go ahead and get his lawyer, Tyler Nixon, on the transmission. And we're going to get our other reporters out in position in front of the courthouse as this all unfolds. So again, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're exposing here. And we knew this was coming. We knew this was going to be unfolding. And you've got all these poor leftists there that are just totally brainwashed, that are just not worth fighting with and not worth engaging in. And again, we're doing cutting edge media here. I just want to add for viewers out there that this is all listener supported. What we've set up here, what we're doing is something that nobody else has done, an independent people's media with actual folks on the ground at all these big events. It's you that's financed all this. And we make it easy. We have products you need at great prices that fund the InfoWar, a 360 win. So I want to thank you all for your support. You've made all this possible. You are the InfoWar. The storable food's selling even faster than it was a month ago, and all the other major competitors have basically sold out or are selling old crap. We have high-quality food at InfoWarsStore.com ready to be packaged, but it will take 10 to 14 days to get to you because they're running 24 hours a day just packaging the high-quality food from Ready Hour. And again, at InfoWarsStore.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Immune Gargle sold out in the 16-ounce, in the 3.4 and the 1 ounce. That is going to be selling out very, very soon. That is available. It has the nano patented silver that's documented to take out the corona family of viruses as well. Also, fish oil has vitamin D3 in it. We have one of the highest qualities you're going to find with our Ultimate Fish Oil. That's at InfoWarsStore.com. And we have Vitamin Mineral Fusion now back in stock. The amino acids, all the vitamins, the minerals, fused together in a great tasting powder that turns into fruit punch for adults and children. That way you get way more absorption, especially older people lose absorption. That is back in stock. 1,800 plus reviews, 96% reviews, 4.8 stars, Vitamin Mineral Fusion back in stock, and Ultra 12, the best B12 you're going to find. Methylcobalamin, spectrum of it, right underneath the tongue, absorb it. It's the base foundation of so much. InfoWarsStore.com. And those are both 40% off by themselves. Vitamin Mineral Fusion and, of course, the Ultra 12. Get them together in the combo, 50% off, ladies and gentlemen. 50% off at InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. But I haven't even gotten to the virus news. People dying on the cruise ships now that had it. So that shows you this. It is very lethal. So InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. But whatever you do, keep spreading the word about the broadcast. That's how we circumvent the globalists. It's how we get around the censors. It's how we, the people, overpower Bloomberg and all the big money that wants to silence the people, is when you spread the word about Band.video and Infowars.com. Stay with us. We are live broadcasting worldwide from the studios in Austin. Owen Schroyer is about to go in front of the press conference again in a moment. I just talked to Randy Credico, close to getting him on in about an hour and a half. We have Roger Stone's lawyer joining us coming up next hour. He has been convicted 40 months, 3+ years. Owen Schroyer, take over. You're live in front of the courthouse with the big press conferences. You are in command now, Admiral.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Political prisoner Roger Stone, an innocent man, has just been sentenced. I'm Roger Stone's former co-host, Owen Schroyer, and while he's been illegally silenced and gagged by a corrupt judge, I have not. So I still have my free speech, and I'm not going to be intimidated out of using it. What's happened to Roger Stone is criminal. Roger Stone is an innocent man. You may not like Roger Stone. You may not like Donald Trump. But this was an FBI entrapment. This was a setup. And this has all the technicalities of a mistrial based on a foreman of the jury lying twice on a questionnaire. That is illegal criminal behavior. That is someone who belongs in jail. You have a team of prosecutors, clearly politicized, coming from the Mueller team who all quit. That is clearly politicized, and clearly a judge who's politicized, inserting her own opinions into this case to demonize Roger Stone. All of this stuff is unprecedented. And if you really think that President Trump is a corrupt dictator, then guess what? What happened to Roger Stone is going to happen to anyone who dissents from Donald Trump. But of course, that's fake news too. Just like Russian collusion, which was the beginning of this attack on Roger Stone. What was Russian collusion? Russia helped release WikiLeaks. Russia helped, you can leave, because this is the truth. This is a threat to America. This is a threat to America.
Yeah, don't respond to the mental patients. Just put your information out.
Russian collusion. Listen to the cult. Listen to the cult.
Don't respond to the cult. Overdrive them with the truth. Expose that Democrats hate America.
The cult. Listen to the cult. Hey, just remember, all the mainstream news covered for Jeffrey Epstein. Just remember, they all
ignore them and put your message out, Owen.
They all covered for Epstein. What was the origination of Russian collusion? WikiLeaks emails, exposing Hillary Clinton as corrupt, exposing the Democrats as corrupt. You guys are in a cult. You guys are in a cult. Do you see that? Look at your cult behavior.
Look at these pathetic Democrats that have come out here for their consolation prize, a kangaroo trial that totally exposes them. Oh, and they're destroying themselves. Everyone knows they hate America. Talk about being his co-host. The cameras are on you. Tell him how he's been gagged, but you haven't. Talk about that corrupt judge, Owen. Owen's got his earpiece back in. Owen, we're live on here, doing a great job. Just ignore the cult members and just put out your message for all the cameras that are there. Talk about being his co-host, what it's like. How this, just whatever you want to say, but you're there. I wouldn't respond to the mental patients. And it looks like they escaped from a mental institution. They're all weird old white people that look like they escaped from a mental institution and like they've all been locked in a cellar with methamphetamine for 40 years.
Yes, Alex, clearly exhibiting cult behavior out here. I've never seen a better exhibition of cult behavior, just chanting lies at me. See, that's all they can do is chant lies.
So what?
What have I've said nothing that's a lie.
But they get you to respond to them. The cameras are all on you. Tell folks what happened to Roger.
What have I said that's a lie? What have I said that's a lie? Anybody?
He gets baited, and I'm not mad at Owen. This is real TV and radio. He wants to try to humanize them and talk to them. They don't talk to you. So you're in front of all the news cameras. Speak for Roger. He's been silenced. He's your co-host. Tell the people there. It's like I'm a ghost trying to talk to the living. This must what it be like. I'm like a ghost trying to influence someone. Like, your child is using fentanyl. I'm a ghost. I saw it. Go take it away. It's under their bed, and they don't hear me. Owen, speak to the news cameras about what happened to Roger. Ignore the crypt keepers. Doesn't even have his earpiece. So we're going to have to cut away from this. But it's okay. This is how it always works. You never engage the crypt keepers. So that's that. No more coverage from Owen Schroyer. Got down by the crypt keepers. So they say something to him. He's got to respond to them. And then that's the end of it. So do your own live feeds, Owen. You're doing a great job, but you're out there in front of all the news cameras responding to crypt keepers. And when you go over and try to talk to them, they go, F you, we're not talking to you. You know the response. So I don't know why we're even there. You're in front of all the cameras. Talk about Roger, your co-host. Silence. Talk about the case. They want to silence you. They've got Bloomberg, Soros talking points. They're running against you, and you're responding to it. You ignore them.
That's it. They censor me on the internet. They gag Roger Stone. And now they try to censor me in real time by shouting down at me. But then when I actually ask them what I'm lying about, they can't answer the question. Now, again, Roger Stone is innocent. He was set up by the FBI. It's a corrupt judge that's now throwing him in jail. Roger Stone will be pardoned. Roger Stone will be pardoned. Roger Stone did nothing wrong.
Oh, yeah, they hate that.
Oh, we don't get free speech. Yeah, we don't get free speech. We don't get to stand up for Roger Stone, an innocent man.
And now the leftists are trying to block people seeing Owen. This is what they do. So just keep getting your speech out.
Pardon Roger Stone.
That's good.
Yes, that's right. You have a corrupt jury, a corrupt judge, and a corrupt prosecution. All the technicalities for a mistrial. All the technicalities for a mistrial. And then in an unprecedented fashion, Judge Jackson decides she's going to issue a sentencing and then review the mistrial case. No, I'm not going to go home. Why don't you go home?
See, he's going to talk to them. Go talk to the guys with the Roger Stone banner.
That covered up Epstein? Do you work for ABC News that covered up Epstein sex trafficking? You know what's funny? Yeah, laugh at that. Laugh at sex trafficking. You know what's funny?
Guys, text Drew and tell him to go talk to the Roger Stone folks holding up the banner.
The closing arguments are being made in the Harvey Weinstein story.
Zombies can't talk. We're trying to interview him.
Because it has no political leverage anymore. You never cared about victims of sex abuse. You never cared about the victims of Harvey Weinstein. All you cared about was your hatred for Trump. And that's why none of you are covering the Weinstein story now. That's why none of you are covering the Weinstein story now. Because it lost all its political leverage. When you thought you could demonize Trump with Epstein or with Weinstein, you covered it all day. When it didn't work, you don't cover it. So now you come out here.
This is great live coverage. Roger Stone given 3.5 years by the kangaroo court.
For what? You realize that Roger Stone has just been issued a jail sentence that is close to how much a rapist gets or an armed robber? For what? Yeah, you celebrate that. That's how sick you are. That's how sick you are. So we've got a corrupt judge, a corrupt jury, and a corrupt prosecution that's now put an innocent man, Roger Stone, in jail. The people who belong in jail are the people that started all this nonsense against Trump, and it starts with Barack Obama. Barack Obama illegally spied. Barack Obama illegally spied on Donald Trump. And James Comey, John Clapper, and James Brennan all went along with it. They all went along with the illegal spying. You guys are celebrating illegality because it goes along.
All right, Owen Schroyer's doing a fabulous job, and I've got the weird thing of sitting here in studio, only talking to him through his earpiece that he takes out so he can focus. I understand that. I'm going to talk to him during the break. Owen, I hope that you'll talk some to the folks that came with the Roger Stone banner. I recognize some of those folks. They're eloquent people, want to get their takes. We didn't even try with the zombies. And then we've got his lawyer joining us. And just stay there, live feeds. We'll be cutting back to you as soon as the prosecutors or whoever come out and try to crow and brag about what they've done. But Berman did back off the longer sentence knowing this is blown up in her face. She looks like the witch she is. Nobody's buying into it. Here, who's this fella right here with the Roger Stone giant banner? Pardon Roger Stone. Let's talk to him.
Enrique Tarrio here just brought out the sign. What's up?
What's up, guys? What's up, InfoWars? We're here showing support for our friend Roger Stone. Judge went ahead and gave him 40 months, something that, a pedophile would get like, what, probation?
Unless you're like Epstein or something.
Unless you're Epstein or something like that, where there's a whole cover-up. But we're seeing an innocent man walk out with 40 months. The judge is playing this game where she's like, oh, well, we might do the motion for retrial. We know exactly what's going to happen. What we need is exactly what this sign says right here. We need a pardon from the president. This is injustice. This was brought up on a sham trial. We know that people like myself that have been debanked, taken off of social media, depersoned, we know that we're victims because we support the president. Right. And what they're doing to Roger Stone is the next level. It's not debanking. It's not taking you away from social media. It's incarcerating. Right. And it's a court order silencing of him so he won't be able to defend himself. So this entire mob that's right here can say whatever they want about him. Right. But he has to shut up.
Listen how eloquent a patriot is, and the libtards came and talk. Oh, we're going to break for 2 minutes. I want to come back and talk to you and Enrique and others. Roger Stone convicted 3.5 years by a kangaroo court, but she had to back off. As I said earlier, she said, oh, maybe 11. She did that to make this sound smaller. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back live, broadcasting worldwide on this Thursday, February 20th, 2020 transmission. So it's 2020. Owen Schroyer's on the ground. We don't know yet. She just gave him 3.5 years, 40 months. Is she going to clap him in irons? The hearing's still ongoing. If he's released for a week or two before this happens, he may come out the front. We're going to be there for the press conference regardless. But this is bigger than Roger Stone. It's bigger than InfoWars, but he is Owen's co-host. This is about tyranny. So you're there with some of the great folks that have that giant Roger Stone banner. Take over for the rest of the segment while I get on the phone with Roger Stone.
Well, it's really great, actually, to be joined by Enrique Tarrio here because he is one of the cases of total censorship. His right to free speech being denied, his right to commerce being denied as well. And so really, Enrique, this is like your last stand, is actually coming out here in the real world, engaging in your free speech because they've taken you off the internet. They try to ban you from banking. I mean, so what is it like to know that this is your last stand? Free speech, real time, in person.
Honestly, I enjoy it because they're like, okay, we're going to debank them. We're going to take them off social media. And that's kind of dangerous because then now I'm out here. I travel across the country. I was with you guys in VA. I'm here in DC. I'm going to be here in DC next week. I was in Portland. So it gets me more active. Obviously, I'm making a lot less money now because of my financial system with banking systems. But I'll be honest with you, I've never been happier in my life than doing what I'm doing now, even though I'm making like 1/10 of what I was making before. But you know, this is just a taste. Not everybody can do this. You know, somebody that just has a regular job and just wants to be a Trump supporter, like imagine they did this to them. You know, they'd suffer. Their family would suffer. You know, I'd say suicide rates would go up because, you know, you can't provide for your family, depression, things like that. It's a real problem. And we're the guinea pigs. InfoWars is a guinea pig. Alex Jones, yourself, myself, Milo, Laura Loomer, all these guys, we're just their guinea pigs. This is what the future is going to look like. If you don't toe the line, or if you're towing the line, they're going to wipe you off this map. They want you in concentration camps. They want you dead. They just don't have to say what it is that they want.
Well, and I think you were getting into it before we went to the break, how what they've done to Roger, now putting him in jail, that's what they want to do. They want to put us in jail, or they want to ruin your life, make you so miserable that you just give up or kill yourself. I mean, really, these people are in a death cult, and it's all being exposed with the abortion, with the Bernie Sanders undercover tapes where they're talking about, you know, putting people in gulags. I mean, it's all been exposed. You've dealt with it firsthand. And like you said, you know, you're in a situation, or you have the personality where you're rising above it. You're still making it for yourself. But you know what? This is going to have a lot of people either censoring themselves or having their lives destroyed just for supporting the president.
Yeah, no, of course. And we're seeing it right now with like some conservative, on conservative Twitter, some people that are conservatives that are on Twitter, you could see that they're trying to make sure that they're saying the right things, like they're checking their tweets, you know, and then it's normalized. If we don't fight back, it's going to be normal. You're going to be like, hey, I can't say this on Twitter. I can't say I support President Trump in 2020 on Twitter because I'm gonna get my life destroyed, just like Alex Jones, just like Roger Stone. Roger Stone's not even the final step. It's a step before the final step because, again, they want to kill you. So what are they going to do? They're putting him in a cage for it, okay? And if we don't fight back, the president's only one person. Yes, he has a lot of power, but if we don't take it on ourselves, and you as a viewer on InfoWars don't come out, right, and sit here and just hold this PVC pipe and this piece of linen, you know, we're going to lose all of this. We're going to lose all of this. Just take a moment of your week to just go ahead and do something that you feel is right.
And, you know, the cavalry is here. We see it with, you know, 50,000 people at a Trump rally, a Democrat rally, can't even fill a high school gymnasium. The cavalry is there. I don't know how much the president is aware of it or not, but it's time for the cavalry to get into the battlefield.
Yes, it's time for us to get off the couch. We need to get off the couch. I'm a huge advocate, and I've said it on your show before. I'm a huge advocate for, if you believe you want that change, right? Run for office. Just try
which you did.
I did. I'm running in Florida's 27th congressional.
All right, we're about to take a break. Enrique Tarrio is with us. We'll get more into the Roger Stone news and Enrique Tarrio running for office, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
We are back live. I am your host, Alex Jones. Owen Schroyer is in Washington, D.C. During the break, Roger Stone quickly came out of the building, got in a black Tahoe SUV Suburban, and disappeared off into the sunset. I guess we're going to find out very, very soon when she says that she's got another hearing for when he reports to jail. But she knows the president's pardon is coming like a ton of bricks. And this cherry on top of the president being removed from office has blown up in their face. Owen Schroyer, there on the ground. Why don't you make the announcements to the libtards, I guess the right-wing watch that grabbed your microphone cover earlier and tweeted it in a celebratory police state extravaganza.
Yeah, they were hoping Roger Stone would be arrested today, put in the shackles, and hauled off to jail. But no, Roger Stone got out of here. No shackles. And yes, a corrupt sentencing, but a pardon is coming for Roger Stone. I think we're all confident in that. The president knows how corrupt this case was. He knows that the entire Russian collusion hoax was nothing more than a scam. It was criminal activity. It all originates out of the Obama administration. The Russian
and
collusion.
Just for me, tell him Alex Jones has a message to you. America is awake to your anti-American scum. Roger Stone is innocent and will be pardoned. You are losers. You have failed.
We have a message from Alex Jones. You have lost. Roger Stone will be pardoned. He has walked out of today's courtroom free and will be pardoned. Trump is also innocent, and he will have victory in 2020. A message from Alex Jones. You cannot silence us.
Now, you want to say anything else, Owen? You've done a great job. You want to talk about the succulent rat behind you? Is that Hillary Clinton right there? Actually, looks like Hillary.
No, it's just a Hillary Clinton operative. But I will actually, I'll give Claude one opportunity to make a statement. Hey, Claude, Alex would like a statement from you. Can you give a statement for Alex Jones, Claude? Can you give a statement for Alex Jones?
Fuck you.
Okay, that's what you get, Alex.
That guy gets major Soros and Bloomberg funding, and he cannot even talk. We had to bleep that out.
Hey, but you know what? Here's what I will say. If you drive around the country with an inflatable rat, you're obviously not deranged. You're obviously
Hey, ask him how it feels to be a total loser.
Hey, Alex wants to know how it feels to be Claude Taylor, or what's a total loser. All right.
How's it feel to keep losing on every front?
Hey, how much did that inflatable rat cost? We'd like.
How much do you charge Soros for that?
Did Soros buy that for you?
Ask him if he rents it out to Soros to be Lemmy-Winks.
Did Soros pay for this rat? Did Hillary, the Clinton Foundation, pay for this rat? You do naughty things with this rat behind closed doors? I will say, Alex, he actually got under this rat earlier today and was fondling it.
Well, Owen, I want to play a clip from Fox News of just minutes ago, Roger Stone leaving the Kangaroo Courthouse. Here it is.
But now for the first time, let's watch.
Okay.
Doesn't look like he's been defeated to me. You're a criminal. You're a political person. We want to arrest you. We're authoritarians. That's our saying. Lock her up. All right, do we have Roger Stone's personal lawyer, Tyler Nixon, on the line yet? All right, let's get him for the next segment. Owen Schroyer, I want you to take over the remainder of this segment. I've got huge coronavirus news, massive political news, huge pro-life news. So much now the ADL says that Senator Ted Cruz is anti-Semitic for criticizing Bloomberg. When it's the ADL constantly injecting Judaism into things and saying if you oppose anybody that's Jewish, that you're a Nazi. Pretty amazing. That's coming up as well. Very, very sad to see the ADL trying to promote anti-Semitism, because that is what they're doing, trying to make everything about if somebody's Jewish or not. I don't think people are making that an issue about Bloomberg, that he's a globalist. But that's all coming up. Just watching all this unfold, I don't think you can see the video of Roger, but he looked like the Cheshire Cat coming out of there.
Well, I think that the good news for Roger here is that he's I mean, we've all known how corrupt this case has been, but for what's come out with the jury and the jury foreman and the prosecutors and the judge now putting off the mistrial, which on technicalities alone should have been thrown out last week, really at the onset of this, I think that he has a bit of comfort with that in the backdrop and with the pardons coming, because, I mean, we know that they wanted to put Roger Stone in jail. It was a political persecution, and they've been lying all the way through. It started with Trump and Russian collusion and everything, and they got Roger Stone's scalp. That's how they look at it. But I think Roger's expecting a pardon. I think we're all expecting the president to do the right thing, which is pardon Roger Stone. And I think that upon the pardon of Roger Stone, Alex, because he should obviously be pardoned, but it should really be the next step after that. It's time to investigate in an earnest fashion the origins of this investigation, the origins of why Roger Stone was here, the origins of why they started.
That's right. The crime was trying to overturn the 2016 election and pin patriot populist, pro-American firsters as Russian agents by Democrats that publicly their entire operating system is America sucks, get rid of it.
And so, and I think that, the pardon of Roger Stone indicates that, yeah, this was a corrupt case, and it all goes back to the Russian collusion.
This is like a Hollywood movie when they're trying to frame Dirty Harry, and he's innocent. The Patriots are Dirty Harry. They're the dirty commies, and the commies are saying, we're the commies. No one's buying this. The dog doesn't hunt. The dog can't even get up. The dog's dead.
And I think it's important to remember, but we need action. But it's important to remember that the president has recognized that he believes that perhaps out of the Obama administration came treason. He's put out the names McCabe, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, and the like, saying they're the criminals. Why aren't they being investigated?
And they're never going to stop striking back until they're prosecuted. They persecuted us illegally. Now they need to be prosecuted for justice.
Hillary Clinton is in Puerto Rico with the Clinton Foundation now with children, okay? I mean, I don't want to, let's not get too deep into this, but let's
No, but
remember,
she's been caught smuggling kids out of Haiti and Puerto Rico. Her top person was convicted of it.
Laura Silsby. But Alex, this is how it went. The Puerto Rican officials hid the disaster relief aid to make Trump look bad. So they're clearly, and now they're ingratiating themselves.
And now they got caught. They got caught.
So it's just incredible. This needs to be shut down. Hillary Clinton should not be walking free. That woman is a threat.
It is a criminal legion of doom. Absolutely. Owen, get your reports together. Great job. Get back to the ATX, because next week I'm going to be with you at CPAC. And we're going to have some very big special events in D.C. that we're going to be attending. I'm just going to leave it at that.
America's back, Alex! America's back! This is what we look like! This is what a patriot looks like!
Go ahead. Start ranting, my friend. We got about a minute till break. Go ahead and let the libtards know. Go get in their faces.
No, it is funny, Alex. These people laugh at me. They work for mainstream news, which is fine. Good for them.
They're all a bunch of puppets. They're failing.
InfoWars isn't the news organization that spiked the Epstein story years after years. InfoWars isn't the news organization that spiked all the Hollywood pedophilia years after years. InfoWars isn't the news organization that spiked the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky story. And by the way, Michael Isikoff, the same person who was involved in all of that, was the one who wrote the story that was used to get the FISA warrants. So the swamp has been shown. We've drained the swamp. We see all the swamp creatures. It's time to round them up and put them in jail.
Owen, great job. Thank you so much. I'm going to shift gears when we come back into the huge coronavirus developments. It's killing people on the cruise ships now. Multiple cruise ships. People are dying. That means it isn't hype. It is killing people, and it's spreading very fast. And we have the smoking gun evidence that it was cooked up in a U.S. bioweapons lab and sold to the Chi-Coms, and even major newspapers reported it in 2015 that it was dangerous, and why the hell was this happening? The Scientist has the headline, "Lab-made coronavirus triggers debate," and it's this exact chimera virus. This is insane. That's coming up. But first, how to take action, how to take down the globalist peacefully in the third dimension at point-blank range. Whatever you do, take action now, modern Paul Revere's, at band.video and newswars.com/show. When you spread those links, when you spread the word, it is victory. We're counting on you. We need to win this war. Please spread the links now.
And you're not going to impeach our president.
Amen.
We want to know why Jerry Nadler will come out into his office and see the people, address us directly.
Where is he?
We're here to hijack this town and to try and make an issue out of getting guns out of good people's hands that can make a difference. And you know that, Beto.
Okay, we have something for her.
No, this is bullshit. It's about mental health, and it's about the war on boys and masculinity. You're bullshit by being here. Shame on you, Beto. Why don't you debate me?
They're always in meetings. Are they in private closed-door meetings conspiring on how to attempt to take our president out of office? It's not going to happen.
Hillary Clinton is openly calling for censorship of all patriots and nationalists. Hillary Clinton is a criminal who failed to sell our nation out to the Chi-Coms. Hillary Clinton is a criminal. Hillary Clinton will never silence the American people. America is awake. America knows what's happening, and Infowars.com is exposing it.
Because so many of them faced unimaginable hardships or terrible abuse.
Like Juanita Broaddrick? Did you include Juanita Broaddrick or Paula Jones?
And I think
the children you smuggled from Haiti will never get a chance to be gutsy. Those Haitian children will never get a chance to be gutsy. Infowars.com. Infowars.com. Infowars.com.
Sir, you're out of here.
What about Juanita Broaddrick? Did you write about her in your book?
You've said your piece.
If you want solutions, it's what you just saw.
We are rolling out the red carpet, not for Tucker, but for some adorable, adoptable dogs. Every year, the Best Friends Animal Society helps cats and dogs who are stuck in animal shelters find homes.
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
We've got
Trump Tower, New York is...
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
The dog will to have
nobody can dispute the fact
that you're a rapist.
That we need.
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
They were going to get a victory today. Yeah. Bill Clinton's a rapist. What's up? Bill Clinton. Yeah, we came down here.
Bill Clinton is a rapist! Bill Clinton raped Juanita Broderick in a motel room!
And, you know, when I announced I was running...
The predator! The media's covering it up! Hashtag
No. Let him go. Let him go.
We really need to be looking at in this debate is that Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com. Bill Clinton's a rapist. Bill Clinton is a rapist.
It's time to reclaim our former greatness. It's time to be men again. And it's time to let all this scum know we're calling that bluff. Full speed, ramming speed. Let's go! All right, that was 3 months ago we put out that video, and since then we've seen incredible action. Bloomberg confronted for working with Epstein in the blackmail child kidnapping rings. Hillary confronted everywhere. All of them being confronted. This is the answer. We have the facts. We're not minions that just go yell and scream racist, racist. We have the facts. Now, I'm going to get into the coronavirus and the biggest developments yet. These are so huge, I don't even know what to say. It's confirmed, mainline news. This was developed in the United States, not Canada. And it was deployed. The Chinacoms bought it. It's very deadly. And people now that have had it on cruise ships are dying, and people are dying in Europe. And so very, very serious. We're going to be looking at that coming up in the last segment of this hour. But I'm joined now by Tyler Nixon, personal lawyer of Roger Stone, not his lawyer in what I would call the terrible defense. In my view, a lot of people I've talked to, the lawyers say it was a terrible defense. I think that Tyler thinks the same thing. People were kind of buffaloed and cowed by it, but not Roger. But now he's got some very hardcore lawyers. But truly, he did nothing wrong. What do you make of what the judge did today? I think she knows nobody's buying this, saying, well, I could give him 11 years, but she gave him 3.5 instead. I think the president is going to obviously pardon him. I haven't talked to Roger in a while other than him saying, please don't talk about the case, even though I'm not involved in the case. But we saw him walking out looking very confident, very Cheshire cat just about 30 minutes ago. What's the latest, Tyler Nixon?
Well, first of all, I think this judge is a disgrace. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. I'm an attorney. But at the same time, this person is hostile, biased, has manipulated this proceeding in every aspect, in every manner to harm and injure Roger Stone, to prejudice his rights. This gag order is an outrageous abuse of power, unlike I've ever seen in my career in law or politics. And, the bottom line is this concerning Roger Stone. She tried to give him enough time to hurt him, should he have to serve it, but not enough to really trigger an automatic pardon where it's outlandish. The president's going to swing into action and pardon him. I think the bottom line as far as the president goes. Calculated. Yeah, she's very calculating. She and don't kid yourself for a second. She is absolutely very much conscious of publicity and how she appears. I honestly thought she'd come in and, well, she did berate him for apparently an extended period. As Milo Yiannopoulos texted me, he said she's going postal on him, was Milo's exact words. And I'll tell you what, she has some room to talk. I mean, give me a break. She has a juror, the foreperson of the jury, who is, basically concealed the fact that she is a, mouth-breathing Democrat partisan. And this is supposed to be an impartial jury. I mean, this is exactly what everybody predicted it would be. And now it's come to light.
I'm not just saying this to declare victory. This totally is like the cherry on top of their fake impeachment, their fake trials, their lies, their fiascos. This is blown up in their face spectacular.
As it should, frankly. And, were I Roger Stone, I would defy that gag order. I would say, lock me up, frankly, until the president pardons me.
Yeah, how long does this damn gag order go? I've talked to all these lawyers, not just you. They never heard of a gag order that comes post conviction.
You could be on trial for threatening a judge, a federal judge, giving a death threat to a federal judge, and you wouldn't be subject to this type of gag order. I mean, how insane is that? I mean, literally, this is the most, I don't know where this woman gets off thinking that she can prior restrain Roger Stone's First Amendment God-given rights. I mean, these are rights. They are not for her to dispense and to hold over his head and act as though she can basically what she's doing is essentially extorting him. She is saying, you know, I will absolutely lock you up if you dare speak out. This woman is a disgraceful epitome of the Obama
administration. She's going to go down in
ilk.
history books as a fraudulent judge, as a political operative, as a tyrant.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is not, as your contributor and our mutual friend Robert Barnes pointed out, this isn't just a violation of his First Amendment rights. This is a violation of Sixth Amendment rights against excessive bail or restrictions against your freedom pending trial or surrounding a trial or judicial proceeding by which, you know, a judge can do this, hang over your head your freedom as long as you don't exercise any of your other rights. It's like saying, look, just go ahead and plead guilty. If the judge saying, go ahead and plead guilty and I won't give you so much time.
Well, that's it. It's terrorism. It's terrorism. It's saying you do what I want politically or I'm going to burn your ass. That's the very definition of terrorism. Threatening or carrying out a threat for a political directive. I mean, for something that you demand as a ransom. Let's talk about what comes next. Stay with us. So I might as well put some action in my life. That's how the veneer of civilization burns away, is when tyrants get rid of chivalry, believing people that came before them were wimps. They had all these checks and balances in place. They didn't do all these hard, mean things. They didn't lie. They didn't cheat. They didn't steal. They didn't persecute people. They didn't intimidate. They must have been idiots. No, they always came out of long, bloody decades, sometimes centuries of millions dead and hell on earth, and they promised never to do it again by breaking the law of God, breaking the law of common sense. It isn't weaklings that follow chivalry. It's those that know the dark side and seek to bound it in chains so that we might live as free men and women and not live under conquest and tyranny. Not to see the burned cities and destroyed fields and farms laid to waste and the rape and the rapine and evil turned loose, but to empower the great spirit of human ingenuity and freedom by passing limited laws to tie down the tyrant and empower the family and the individual and those that love God. But the tyrants and the control freaks and the Satanists continue to break the law, God's law, common sense, natural law. Everything they do is about saying men are women and women are men and God doesn't exist and there is no right or wrong. Listen to their song. Breaking the law, 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 breaking the law. Tyler Nixon, Roger Stone's friend, confidant, fellow journalist, Army officer, veteran, and lawyer. There's a lot, obviously, you can't talk about. Roger can't talk about stuff. This unconstitutional gag order rolls forward. But what comes next as the deep state has broken every law, committed every crime? It's not that I'm even looking for vengeance. If they would just give up and go away, I'd say let them have their spoils. But they won't go to Alba. They won't give up. They're always coming back and attacking again. Trump must take action now, not just pardoning Roger Stone. What do you think?
Yeah, well, brother, first I want to say, you know, you speak the truth. And these people who sit behind this black-robed deity, you know, demigod in her own mind, who sits on the bench there in D.C. and passes judgment on someone like Roger Stone, hauls him before her, has the gall to berate him and to lecture him and to act as though she sits on high. These people need to realize that they only have authority, they only have power, they only exist because we let them, okay? Because we, the people,
because George Washington kicked the British Empire's ass, and then for 250 years we have sustained the Republic, and they perch on top of it with disdain, pissing on it at their great peril.
Damn right, exactly. You know, these people, they chip away at it. They want to chip away at it. They want to have us as their subjects by our own volition. And let me tell you something, the power is always with the people. It's always with the grassroots. It's always with the info warriors out there and everybody else, not some, some hive-minded, DC-centric, beltway potentate like this woman, this judge is. I mean, it really sickens me. And here's the thing: is it comes down to this: they're going to get away with it, and they're going to keep getting away with it, and they're going to keep pushing until we stop them. And that's why Trump, president, needs to act. He needs to shut them down. He needs to say, you know what? You're 2 years
He needs to
of
exercise his authority against them because they are the tyrants. He must crush the tyrants. So thus to tyrants.
Exactly. And they want to take the bureaucratic state. They have this insane notion they're trying to force down people's throats that the president is somehow accountable to the permanent bureaucracy. I mean, they started this under
they're
Richard
acting
Nixon.
like it's not even 3 branches of government. The bureaucracy is God.
Yeah, and the judges being the ultimate bureaucrats, the ultimate administrative administrators of justice or whatever it is they claim to be doling out to the people.
And then who gets them elected? Literally, Bloomberg, the Clintons, the deep state is financing all these turds.
Yeah.
So they're all literally beholden to the big billionaire potentates.
All of whom are beyond the reach of the law, or at least the equal protection of law. I mean, there's enough laws on the books. I don't believe in this just blind application of the law. We see where it's gotten us. We see where an Andrew Weissman, the scum that was behind the Roger Stone persecution that went on, and now is just another mouth-breathing lunatic MSNBC contributor, quote unquote. He is the type that basically is willing to collapse an entire company like Arthur Andersen and to railroad people into prison, and no one's stopping these people because they get away with it and they shield themselves from it. And Andrew McCabe walks.
They've been emboldened in their own little tyrannical, authoritarian, megalomaniac bubble.
Look at the lunacy of a Rachel Maddow going on and saying that Trump's stopping or attempting to intercede with his righteous power as the elected president of the United States, chief executive, to intercede, to cut off injustice, to cut off partiality and bias and the abuse of power in the justice system, in the so-called Department of Justice, to literally demonize and harm and injure the
let's go
political
back.
opponents.
Remember 3 years ago, $47 million or 45, whatever it was, we can pull it up. Just type in Rick Perry indicted in Travis County. And Rick Perry isn't perfect, but I mean, it's in the Constitution that the governor can veto things. The Democrats got this law passed to give themselves $40-something million a year in Austin for their anti-corruption board that was really just a cop-hating leftist commie thing. He said the head of your board got arrested, spit on police and attacked him, video. They had to put a spit bonnet on her. He said he gave him like 6 months. He goes, put in a new person, or I'm going to cut the funding. He vetoed it. It's in the Constitution. They indicted him. He had to battle $2.5 million to beat it. So the very same Travis County is literally trying to destroy InfoWars right now. But I mean, that's just insane. So that's an example of how they're saying Trump may be impeached if he pardons Roger Stone when it's in the damn Constitution, plain as day.
Yeah, what they have done is taken the position of Louis XIV, l'état c'est moi. They think I am the state, I am the government, as Andrew Zelensky apparently barked at Aaron Zelensky, one of the corrupt prosecutors who went after Stone, yelled at some defense attorney or some woman who was across the aisle from him, so to speak. They believe that everything they do is justice. They believe that everything they do is law. They believe that everything they do, no matter what they do, is the sanctity of the state. And anybody who opposes them, no matter even if it's the president executing his just powers, his lawful powers, is obstructing them, the state, the great state, the great, whatever you want to call it,
well, let me ask you this. Do we know yet now that he's been released, when she thinks she's sending him to jail? Or because this was the sentencing, what comes next?
Well, I think she's going to have to set up a hearing and decide what she's going to do on this corrupt foreperson of the jury who lied her way onto the jury.
Sure, so that's the question. Usually at a sentencing hearing, she says what's going to happen. Why didn't that happen?
Well, I mean, because she hasn't made a decision on it. She's basically trying to throw out she wanted to have her day in the sun and to berate him and to humiliate him and to drive it home and to pass her sentence on him. And basically now it's going to be how she decides to move forward with this corrupt juror aspect of things. And I'll tell you what, I mean, there's no two ways about it. That was not an impartial jury. But, you know, what's the standard? I mean, you're dealing with a judge who's an Obama partisan, clearly in the tank, doing the government's work for it. I mean, the government didn't.
And they can't help it. They can't help but grease the skids. All right, Tyler Nixon, we'll talk to you again soon. You've got to go do another interview. Pop back in when the more developments coming up. Stay with us. All right, let me do this. I want to give the phone number out for first-time callers and maybe just take 6, 7 calls, because I don't want to leave folks on hold. To give me your take on the Roger Stone conviction, 3.5 years by the kangaroo court, or what's happening with the coronavirus, how you see the next attacks on Trump, whatever you want to talk about. I want to take some phone calls in the first 30 minutes of the next hour. Then we have a special guest joining us. Then Matt Bracken takes over, and then the War Room will be hosted from D.C. by Owen Schroyer. But briefly, we've launched OperationWin2020.com. And when you go to the site, you get 20 free stickers mailed to your door that have messages like, save the First Amendment or indict the traitors. And it looks like duct tape, but it doesn't pull out your whiskers or hurt your face like duct tape would. And you just stick it on your face. And silence is golden. You go to Trump rallies. You'll get 20 of these, and you hand them out when you're there and say, hey, everybody likes InfoWars. Everybody likes free speech, right? You know Trump needs to do something about it. Let's go in and at some point wear these till people ask us why we're wearing them and explain Trump needs to do something about big tech surveilling us, because they have to surveil you to censor you, and blocking you with AI, even on text messages now with WhatsApp app and all the rest of it. WhatsApp. So that's where this is going. I told you about that a year ago. Now it's happening to everybody. So you get 20 stickers. Well, actually, I beefed it up today. We're going to add a bunch of other stickers too, but while supplies last. But we're going to put a bunch of stickers in the mail to you to put on your car, to put up in legal and lawful places. We have these little stickers that are mini stickers that people really love. You can also go to InfoWarsStore.com and order them in 100 packs, 500 packs, and 1,000 packs at cost. But if we can we just go to OperationWin2020.com? I want to show people that URL on screen for folks. And then you just put in your name, address, or whatever fake name you want address, or send it to your work or whatever, and we will send it to you. Or I can probably pull it up on my phone. There you go, Operation Win 2020. Because we need to get President Trump to take action and you know, pressure him, not just pressure Democrats to do the right thing. We know they won't, but Trump really listens to the American people. 20 different stickers, free. You can also buy them at cost on the site as well. Sign up for a free newsletter so we can organize events and things. By the way, I'm going to D.C. next week. If you are signed up here, you will get the email about free events at very prestigious places where a lot of media will be. I'm just going to leave it at that. So this is just for listeners. But if you want to be contacted when I'm in California, or I'm in D.C., or I'm in Illinois, or I'm in Florida, or I'm in Arizona, I mean, we've got a lot of places we're going to be going. If I'm in Wisconsin, if I'm in South Carolina, it's folks that are at Win 2020, OperationWin2020.com. You're the ones that are going to get the email first saying, we've got this many free tickets to this event, or I'm going to be here tomorrow night. Because we're shut down on social media, that's fine. That way the libtards don't even know. Then it's about us. So you want to be part of the InfoWars Army, this is it. OperationWin2020.com. Get your free 20 stickers, and then you go to the event, and you're there. And everybody's, I mean, they've had a lot of Trump events where over half the people, usually it's about a third, are wearing InfoWars shirts. And that's great. But now there's the solidarity of you get 20 stickers, you and your wife go, or you and your family go, you got some extra stickers, you hand those out and say, hey, Trump's great, but he's doing something about the censorship. We've all experienced it. Save the First Amendment, or 19 other stickers for you to choose from. Okay, I want to go to your calls at 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539, 877-789-2539, or international line put in the country code, and then the 512-646-1776, 512-646-1776. Now, I've just been covering Roger Stone conviction news for the last hour mainly, and I said I'd get into the coronavirus. And it's not like I'm building it up. I was just honest with listeners yesterday that covering something this horrible, covering something this crazy, covering something this serious, just mixed in with everything else we're covering, doesn't feel right. I mean, I look at the numbers, I look at the viruses, I look at the scientific papers, I look at the reports, and I just pull back and go, I got up at 5:30 in the morning this morning, and I did about an hour of research before my children woke up, before I made them breakfast. And I was sitting there reading these scientific reports I'm going to show you from prestigious groups and double checking it all before I came on air. And there's just some type of psychological compulsion. Because I'm not somebody that wants to cover stuff up, but it's kind of like the military when it's got to go to your door and tell you your son just got killed. This is not an enjoyable job. And I'm not complaining. I'm very honored to be here. But I'm ashamed. And I don't blame Trump. He doesn't know who he's hiring or what he's doing. I would at his level. But then when I discover all this, then I want to research every point of it so I get it exactly right, because I don't want to make a mistake. Imagine the globalists just lie all they want. That must be so easy. You just do whatever you want. Me, I'm like studying hours, just getting headaches, trying to and calling up virologists and experts and confirming that I'm correct. So this is not some dramatic flourish here. I don't think I can cover this, actually. It's above my pay grade. And I think I've just said it. And I'm not copping out. It's not that I can't cover it. I mean, I spent an hour this morning looking at this again, and all the countless shows you've seen with experts, and then I spent more time before the show. And I just don't feel confident talking about this because I might make a mistake. I mean, I'm 95% sure, and you heard Dr. Francis Boyle yesterday, who wrote the U.S. biological weapons laws that became world treaty, and he said that under Obama, Homeland Security sold the Chinese this virus, and I even found mainstream news 5 years ago saying it, worried about it, The Scientist. That's one of the biggest scientific publications out there. And then I read that. And then I found all the papers. And I'm just like, I'm not a violent person, like offensively, but coming on air and just talking about this is not a normal response. And I'm not calling for violence. I'm just saying, as a father and as a human being, at a certain point, things are so horrible that you just can't make it one more footnote. It's like so bad that I need to really muster my full will and really do some planning on how I talk about this. There, I've said it. I just can't cover this. I mean, you heard Boyle on yesterday, and I went and did a bunch of research. He's dead on. And then I'm like, why the hell is our government doing this? I know Trump didn't do this then, but the guy he's got running NIH was involved in it at the time. And they're all involved. And it's just like, they're crazy people. And they're violent. By producing this, they are attacking us. And so as a man, I become a sellout and a wimp if I don't tell people that folks doing this are violent towards everybody and are the same as terrorists or worse, running around with suicide vests or flying airplanes into buildings. So this doesn't become something just to bitch about on air. This becomes something of ultimatums to the president. I mean, I don't know. Obviously someone knew the U.S. government did this, and the Chi-Coms, I think, released it on purpose to embarrass Trump. Now that they know they had this and that, there's some big stuff going on here, and so that's why I don't want to say I'm shaken. I'm just, it's so big, I don't want to go off half-cocked. Because I'm a decisive person, and I'll take action all day long. I'm still got the wheels turning, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what I should do. I just want to beg listeners and viewers, please keep us on air. They're trying to shut us down so that nobody can challenge what they're doing, and nobody can bring up what's happening. That's why your word of mouth. You understand what happens when you tell friends and family and neighbors, hey, Infowars.com/show or band.video or newswars.com/show. What happens, the magic that happens, that's how we get the victory for all of us. And then again, the products you need to keep us on the air. We've sold a lot of product the last month. That's great, because quite frankly, we're going to have to shut down in like 6-8 months. But thanks to you, we're still on air, but only by this much. And I've got a bunch of big plans I want to lay out. So get your products at InfoWarsStore.com. Get your storable food while you still can. Get the Immune Guard while you still can. And we've got a bunch of products now back in stock, like Vitamin Mineral Fusion and Ultra 12.
I could teach anybody to be a farmer. It's a process. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, add water, up comes the corn. You could learn that. Now comes the information economy. It's built around replacing people with technology. The skill sets that you have to learn are how to think and analyze. And that is a whole degree level different. You have to have a different skill set. You have to have a lot more gray matter.
Take you now to Chicago and Paul Harvey.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk. Somebody who'd bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing. Who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
Now you know the rest of the story.
There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
Just let me think.
I suspect even now, orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way.
It's Chancellor Sutler.
Damn it.
Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
You designed it, sir. You wanted it foolproof. You told me every television in London.
Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission.
We need cameras.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the now High Chancellor Adam Sutler. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar. Your phone calls are 60 seconds away. This is the InfoWar. By the way, if you just joined us in the last hour at the end, I just said, I can't cover this coronavirus right now. Because there's so many pieces to it that I just want to be able to definitively give you my view on it. And I don't want to make mistakes. The problem is the system can just put out whatever BS they want and just try to say that's reality. We all know they're lying. But, you know, sometimes I just can't be Mr. Decisive. I'm decisive about a lot of things because I know what I'm talking about. But this virus is bad. The response to it's bad. The tyranny that's come out of it is bad. The fact that a lot of folks are now dying outside of China, so we know that it is a lethal virus. It's not just hype. And then the providence of the virus. I was going to come on the air today and only cover the virus, but then the Roger Stone thing I knew was coming up, so that's what we did the first hour and a half or so. So I guess that's really the answer. I should probably start the show tomorrow and do the first hour just on the virus and take time to go over every piece of it because, you know, that's what my frustration is because I want to go to your calls. We have another guest joining us. There's so much to hit here. That this is just so big that if I don't make this the only topic, I'm playing it down. Because you can consciously want to tell the truth. But if you just kind of let something out like it's no big deal, it's a form of lying. See, I've kind of hit that neurotic level in my life where I like, if I don't full out on something, it's not the right thing. And it's not some goody two-shoes ism. It's the fact that I'm really analyzing in my life, how do I absolutely 110% do what's right and not play games? And I'll tell you, because I've been retrospective, thinking about how I can get closer to God. God hates cowards. And when we put out almost $400,000, back when we had the budget for that, before all the deplatforming, 4 years ago, $5,000 if you confronted Bill or Hillary to their face about their child kidnapping rings or pedophilia, Jeffrey Epstein, or rapes, you get $5,000, which people are already doing it, but it just made it, you know, a bounty, more fun. And it put my John Hancock on it. $2,000 if you did it on national television, $1,000 if you did it on local TV. And we paid out almost $400,000 on that. And it destroyed them. I mean, and they came after me viciously. Hillary Clinton got with Bloomberg. He finances the lawsuits. That's now coming out. And then they've been trying to shut us down ever since, the deplatforming. And big tech was happy to do it. They're like, absolutely, we love your pedophilia. Well, we love Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I mean, there are a bunch of them are in on it. Most big tech heads have been blackmailed. They've been on the Alita Express, and you know they're not just screwing 16-year-old girls. It's a lot worse than that. So you know they're all blackmailed. Is why they're so bad. But you know I'm proud of that, man. I feel good. I sleep good at night, knowing that if Hillary thought she could get away with having me killed, she'd do it. Instead, she's just trying to kill my name. But that's failed as well. And I don't care. I love life. I don't want to die. But I hate tyranny so much that I just have no fear of these people. And nothing they can do to me either. Because I've given it to God. My children, my name, my blood, my treasure. I'm going to do whatever has to be done. And so I'm constantly sitting back looking at what's going on in the world and thinking, how can I be the most hardcore and do the right thing that nobody else will do and put myself in maximum danger? And it's not done out of some death wish. It's done out of, I've got to man up and really take on the worst missions, because those are the missions other people aren't going to take, because I've got to be an example to people. And I want folks to know if I am put in prison or killed, I'm not a victim or a failure. I am victorious. I took the field against the dragon and only did it through God's power. So I am analyzing the situation with the coronavirus, and maybe I should just host the war room today or something and get it done then. But I want to go to your phone calls. But it was cooked up by Homeland Security under Obama, according to The Scientist. Lab-made coronavirus triggers debate. The creation of chimera SARS-like virus has scientists discussing the risk of gain of function. And you read the article, it's the exact weird virus popped up that Bill and Melinda Gates have now patented. And it's all hidden in plain view. And I've got all the papers. And then, of course, Trump's Homeland Security people are the ones that were involved in it. And it's not Trump that did that. It's just the whole system. And it's what they all do. So just because Trump's people, and I'm not giving Trump a pass, by the way, I'm just saying we don't know. It's why this is so complex. Why would the U.S. sell this to the Chi-Coms and then 5 years later it's released, clearly so the Chi-Coms can crack down and take over Taiwan? This is big, is what I'm saying. It's big. And I don't know exactly what's going on, but man, this is the big enchilada. That's all I'm saying. And so my brain is like a computer, like bzzz, thinking, and it hasn't popped out the answers yet. And my gut, my spirit, my brain's never wrong. Yours isn't either. I've just got to wait till it's there. But this is bad. 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 It's big. And they've been letting us know that it's going to start mutating and getting worse. And that's exactly what, looking at it weeks ago, I was like, looks like it's supposed to mutate into something worse. It's been pre-programmed. They've already tested it in labs. And well, they've already told us in a year or so it's going to be much worse than it is now, and it's already really bad. So they're just introducing us to the new AIDS of the new millennium. And this isn't just going to be something that kills people that have anal sex or whatever or use needles. This is something that's going to kill you and your family and make you have a heart attack and make your lungs bleed out. And it totally sucks. And so that's why metaphysically we all are concerned, because we know, oh, this is big. It is big. And it was produced in the United States, not Canada. That was all put out as disinformation. And they even hid the damn thing in plain sight. So, I mean, here's some of the headlines. 2 passengers from coronavirus hit Japanese ship in Japan die. China deploys 40 mobile incineration ovens labeled for disposable animal waste but used for humans. Smoking gun. China bought weaponized Wuhan virus from U.S. South Korea reports first death from coronavirus. New scientists suggest Chinese tech shipments about to crash. New scientists, lab-made coronavirus triggers debate. The creation of chimera SARS-like virus has scientists discussing the risk of gain-of-function research. SARS-like cluster of circulating bat coronavirus poses threat for human emergence. That's that report out of the U.S. university 5 years ago. A mouse model, and it goes into the whole deal. China turns to health rating app to control movements during coronavirus outbreak. China's now sending investigators. Here's one right here. Deploys 40 incinerators. I've got another one where they've deployed a bunch of people to investigate whether or not the government's covering up. The government has sent out people to find out if the government's covering things up. South Korean city on high alert as coronavirus cases soar at cult church. Fecal transmission maybe behind coronavirus rapid spread. Hospitals across the U.S. prepare for coronavirus outbreak to become global pandemic, CNBC. And again, I've got all of these headlines. Amid coronavirus, the world closes its doors to China. I feel so isolated. China deploys, that same article. I'm trying to find the one I had on, maybe pull it up, guys, on China. And the, I can't even keep track of it anymore. As cases mount, Japan rapidly becoming coronavirus hotbed. And it just goes on from there. Russia suspends Chinese citizens from entry to China February 20th. We'll be right back with your phone calls. Stay with us. High noon. All right, Trump is set to speak on prison reform, and I'm sure that'll be Roger Stone. As soon as that happens, we're going to go to it. We have another special guest popping in, but I'll get to all your calls. Kurt and Levi and Rachel and CJ and Mike and Ethan. Who's been holding the longest here? That'd be a Colorado caller. That'd be Rachel. Rachel, thanks for calling. What a crazy day. What do you want to talk about?
Dr. Jones.
How you doing?
What an honor to speak to the captain of the new millennium of the Messianic millennium.
Well, I'm trying to find those captains, but thank you very much, and you're one of them. So, Rachel, what's on your mind today?
Actually, it's Rochelle.
I'm sorry.
But
see,
they
Captain
call me
can't even
Rachel.
read stuff at 20 feet away anymore. My eyes don't work.
I can't
Rochelle's
believe that.
a very pretty name. Go ahead, Rochelle.
Well, thank you. Yeah, they call me Rachel in Israel. So I've been there a couple of times. As a matter of fact, I went to the embassy move in 2018. I was in Jerusalem for that. That was pretty awesome.
I bet it was.
So, have you heard of the Cosmic Cowboy trilogy?
I've heard that name, but I've never. What is it? Is it a book?
Yeah, it's a movie script that I wrote in 2011, and it prophesied the move, Trump's move to the embassy move in Jerusalem in 2018. So it was like a 9-year prophetic look. It didn't have his name particularly in it, but it was like encoded. Of course, I didn't know this at the time.
I like that name, though, the Cosmic Cowboy Trilogy, because if I hadn't heard it, I've heard it now. I want to be part of that.
Well, yeah, thank you. It's on Amazon, along with my first book, which was the ABC Atomic Bible for Children. And this is a rendition of how Jesus took the atomic blast in his body on the cross and the darkness and the earthquake and everything, and he took the curse of World War II in his body, and he resurrected, and of course the shroud has radiation on it.
That actually is true, yeah. They don't know why.
Huh? I'm sorry, what you say?
No, very, very. We should have you on as a guest, Rachel, because this sounds like some fun. We take a couple of hits of acid and read the book. I'm joking. But
what's that?
I'm being silly.
Oh, good.
I'm being silly. I'm drug-free, ma'am. No, but it sounds wild. It sounds exciting. And the enemy all knows everything is spiritual. That's why they don't want us to know it's spiritual. Well, so what do you think is going to happen with Roger Stone?
Well, okay, and I just wanted to say that you definitely are the captain, because you not only sell products for the body and give us social engineering, proper social engineering, but you also, you're not disconnected from the Godhead. And so I know I speak for millions of people all around the world. We just really appreciate you, all the work you've done for all these years.
Well, Rachel, know this. I 100% am pro-human, and I don't lie. So you can know that. I am a big jerk, though, sometimes. So please don't put me on some pedestal, and God bless you, and I appreciate your call. I want to take calls on Roger Stone, on whatever you want to cover. Levi in Michigan. Levi, thanks for holding, brother. You're on the air.
Yes. Pleasure to talk to you, Alex. Long-time listener. I take all your products. So many.
Well, that's the only reason we're on air, brother. Thank you for the support.
Yep. I just recently got the Alexa Pro water filtration system.
Yes.
And compared that to the regular.
I think your phone's coming in and out. Just talk right in that microphone for me.
Yeah, and it does wonders for filtration of the water. But Roger Stone, it's just part of their whole plan, I believe, that they just want to demonize anybody that is for Trump and with Trump, and they also it's also part of their plan to have anybody that is a patriot.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's simple. You know Trump's for real, because let me tell you, they had them coming after him before, but when I supported Trump, all hell broke loose. They legitimately hate his guts. What is it about Trump they hate so much? I think it's that he actually wants to be the president and be in charge himself. I mean, because I got to tell you, I think Trump overall is good, but he could be bad. He at least is the president. I mean, he's calling the shots, folks.
He's pro-American. That's what it is. They're not pro-American. They care less about any of us. They just want to take our money and pillage us.
Exactly, and because they don't have an identity, Bloomberg and Hillary, they're no one. Like, they think it's dumb to have an identity. Well, what is their identity? They don't have one. They're idiots.
No, just like on the stage last night. All they could talk about is crap about each other because they couldn't talk about any policy.
Oh, man, I tried to watch it last night. I taped it because I was with the family. When they went to bed, I watched it. What a backstabbing fiasco. Great points, Levi, but your phone is terrible. That's why I'm cutting you short. Kurt in Washington, D.C., where Roger got sentenced to 3.5 years. Kurt, what's your view on this?
On Roger Stone?
No, just everything, brother. Coronavirus. That's what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about the coronavirus. First of all, from what I've been reading about, they said there's no symptoms initially. So it seems strange to me that in China, in Wuhan, they would lock down just that city when it would be equivalent to an event such as New Year's Eve at New York, when everybody's gathered together, and then they get back on airplanes and they go everywhere else in China, and how there isn't more of a spread of this virus.
And that's the key, is that it was already raging in Wuhan. It was China being taught, gang up on one city, accept their oppression, except Alex Jones being banned. It's always the same. And then everybody else is banned the next month. Exactly. That's why we know Xi Jinping, the dictator's using it for power, is that it was already wide open for months. So what does locking Wuhan do? It sets the precedent that no one has any freedom in Wuhan.
I'm just wondering why the coronavirus has not spread to more cities than Wuhan, and why only Wuhan's on lockdown. And I don't know if
No, I agree with you. I'm saying it's all about a test.
Test?
A power grab test. Because if they get the other Chinese to accept that city having its rights taken, then what happens to them later, it will be seen as kosher when the real target is Taiwan.
Are you also aware that the Daily Star in the UK is reporting that China has now sent 40 incinerators to get rid of bodies to Wuhan?
We did cover that report last hour. Yes, sir.
Okay. I was also wondering if you thought that maybe these bodies that we're getting rid of might have something to do with the over 2 million people they brought in from Hong Kong.
Ooh, that's a good point. They've been grabbing all sorts of people out of Taiwan and Hong Kong, and they're using this as a cover. No, I agree. Xi Jinping is using this as a cover to clamp down on his political opposition. 100%. You're absolutely right. You're totally right. I appreciate your call. Thank you, Kurt. That's why I take calls. These bring up great points. And yes, Kurt, you might have missed it. We covered the 40 incinerators, mobile incinerators last hour. Stay with us. I have a message to the American people and to the people of the world who want to see America fully freed from the clutches of the globalists and the Chi-Coms. I need your help, no matter where you are around the world, to reach out to President Trump in a way he cannot ignore and insist that he do his job to protect and defend the most cherished part of the Bill of Rights and Constitution that is enshrined in the First Amendment. President Trump has done an incredible job exposing and taking on the deep state. He has helped kickstart our economy and helped kickstart the soul of America, pride in our great nation. He stood up to the communist Chinese and others who've set up very unfair trade deals and who've been meddling in our internal politics. President Trump is a godsend. But that said, he has failed miserably to defend the First Amendment against the Democratic Party and against big tech, who have been acting in collusion using AI systems to suppress the American people, to spy on the American people, and to manipulate and control what individuals are saying on the internet in live time. Not just on YouTube and Google and Alphabet and Twitter. and Facebook, but even in private message apps. Now the phone companies have AI controlling what people can say in live time. That's not just un-American. It's incredibly dangerous and beyond the nightmare visions of 1984. But it's not just foreign authoritarian governments and the Democrats and big tech that have teamed up for this axis of anti-American, anti-free speech evil. The Republican blue bloods have gone along with it as well because big corporations want to be able to continue to merge until there's just one big mega AI company that itself merges with the NSA to control not just what the American people say, but the people of the world. This is fundamentally about stopping the massive authoritarian surveillance grid that carries out the live-time censorship. Go to OperationWin2020.com and simply put in your name and address, and we will send you a free packet of 20 stickers that you can then go to rallies and Trump events, wear across your mouth, and when people ask you why you're doing that, you can then strike up a conversation with them and expose how our most basic right is being absolutely dismantled before our very eyes. You can also sign up for a free newsletter there on the site that will keep you updated on the ongoing fight to restore the First Amendment and where InfoWars and others are planning rallies and plan to attend Trump events to peacefully put the stickers over our mouths and go in not to disrupt, but to let our numbers known. Even Matt Taibbi of Rolling Stone has reported that up to half the people he saw at Trump rallies in 2016 and on are wearing Infowars.com t-shirts. If we simply go to the rallies and wear the stickers over our mouths, the silence is the loudest possible thing that we could do and will absolutely make this issue be the front and center item that it needs to be. It's the #1 issue when I talk to people on the street, when people call into the show. Everyone is angry about the suppression and the censorship because it's happening to them. It's happening to you. This is the way we go to Trump rallies and other big rallies and events, Congress, local city council meetings, you name it, and point out the censorship happening in America. You just wear the sticker over your mouth. It's comfortable, easy to remove, but it looks like duct tape, so it really pops. There's 20 different messages, 20 different stickers that you can choose from. And again, we'll send you 20 of them to your door absolutely free. You can also buy at cost bigger packages of the stickers at InfoWarsStore.com and at OperationWin2020.com. But whatever you do, take action, shoot videos of when you're out protesting, when you're out demonstrating, and this silent protest will force Trump to take action, do the right thing. It will force Trump to override some of the globalists still inside his administration and save the First Amendment, the most precious of American rights. We're launching Operation Win 2020. Visit OperationWin2020.com to discover how you can join the Second American Revolution and secure the First Amendment, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. I recently told the former head of psychological warfare at the State Department, Dr. Steve Pieczenik, about our plan, and he loved it.
Because silence becomes your weapon. And if they want to understand why you're silent, you read it right. I think it's brilliant what you're doing. You're not disrupting. You're in no way offending anybody. You're basically stating your view, and you have the loudest sound of all, silence. And you know what's most disturbing to people? Silence.
OperationWin2020.com. We'll have it linked up on Infowars.com. I'm sending it out to everybody that's on the free newsletter at Infowars.com/newsletter. And I'm very excited. As of yesterday, it was over 1,000 people had signed up. They'll be mailed out. They're getting the shipment ready. It's going to be Monday. I just asked during the break, I said, how many have signed up? 4,000. So 4,000 people are going to get the 20-pack, and they're going to go to Trump rallies. And if, again, as the Rolling Stone said, half the people at the Trump rallies are wearing our shirts. Everybody's me. Why are they wearing the tape? Because Trump's failed on this. We're not in a cult, man, where he drops the ball and we just, oh, yes, sir. We love Trump. We put him in there. And he's going to take action against big tech. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I don't need to have this guest on to sell storable food. This ties into the coronavirus and how crazy it is, and that weeks ago, almost All of the big food companies have sold out. My Patriot's the biggest. We private label it. It ships directly out the fastest, InfoWarsStore.com. That funds the operation. They're in our system. They just take the orders as they come in. It's the same as My Patriot. We have their full spectrum, all the specials, everything. But I was talking to them yesterday, and they said, yeah, everybody else is sold out. We're still having to buy out. We've got the food now, but we're 10 to 14 days. We're going to have to go up in a couple of weeks because food prices have gone up a lot. And you can see that in the news because China shut down. They don't buy food there, but everybody else is now buying it up because it's not in China. And there's a chain reaction. So, yes, there's a plug for storable food, but it's like selling snow cones in hell or iced tea in the Sahara. Everybody's buying it up. So that's the news information for you to know as we're joined by Keith Bansimer, the CEO of My Patriot, who's been around 12 years. I got him as a sponsor 11 years ago because we had a bunch of sponsors. We want the best. We want good folks. And they deliver. They have high quality. It's great storable food. But the bigger issue here is not selling storable food. It's the fact that they're going to have to go up in price in a week or two. Not much, but some. And everybody else is sold out. That's scary that everybody else sold out to corporations and government. And now My Patriot, who is the biggest supplier in the country now, is there watching this happen. It shows how food sales went like this and then like this, and now they're going like this, even bigger. And so it's bigger over long term than it ever was. That tells me something big is happening with the coronavirus. Now deaths on cruise ships. Now we know that there's a cover-up going on. We're going to break in about a minute and a half, and I appreciate you holding while I aired that earlier. But Keith, what's your bottom line? What's really going on right now?
Well, certainly this is unprecedented, Alex. I think we spoke, 20 some odd days ago, and we're in day 27 right now of this surge in demand where Americans are preparing. That we're seeing an unprecedented volume of orders here, 10 to 12, 14 times the magnitude of what we normally get. And as you mentioned, that's leading to a food shortage because people are buying food. They're storing it up, getting ready for potential, God forbid, emergencies or quarantines that come forth in the U.S. here. And our suppliers are passing along an increase to us. We haven't had that in 4 to 5 years, increasing our costs 10 to 15%. But we're just giving you and your viewers, your listeners, a heads up. We're holding prices for you, Alex. We're holding prices steady for at least another 7 to 10 days.
That's a scary thing. I can't think of a time when all the storable food around the country sold out and the orders are only going up. When we come back, I want to talk about what do you think the system knows that we don't know with the CEO of My Patriot Supply. And again, you order at InfoWarsStore.com. They're in our back end. It just goes right to the head of the line. You order it. It's locked in. You get it. InfoWars Store. All right. Keith Bansimer powers the great line of high-quality storable food we have available at Ready Hour at InfoWarsStore.com. And yes, we're selling storable food here. I sell it when there's not a crisis going on. What concerns me is we're a month into this, and food sales aren't going down, they're going up. And so you guys, I was talking to you last night and this morning, you're going to have to raise prices a little bit because food prices are going up so much. It's, again, you don't get your food from China, you get it from the U.S. But the fact that they're running out and the fact that it's in the news that their industries are collapsing, everything else, that's going to create a global crisis, a global shortage of a lot of things. And with the economy, and they're trying to cause race riots, all of this, people need to get storable foods now. That's a no-brainer. But I've never seen storable food purchases at this point. And as I was talking to you guys a month ago and 3 weeks ago and a day ago and today, you aren't selling out to institutions because that's not your mission. Everybody else has already sold out to corporations and governments. What do they think is so big, Keith, that they've been preparing like this?
Well, absolutely, Alex. It's something we've noticed the last week. Have you noticed that the death count, or not the death count, I'm sorry, those infected in the U.S., the number was like 15. Suddenly you can't get that number. Or the number that are under quarantine or self-quarantine in the U.S. You saw a story a couple of days ago, 4,500 in California, quarantined or under self-quarantine, 712 in the state of Washington. Why is there nobody adding up that number to tell us what the picture truly is? And why has the number of infections number kind of just stopped being reported? You're seeing that, and whatever's causing it here. And then the fact that we were approached there a couple of months ago, several weeks ago, by government service agencies saying, get in the system. Tell us how much food you have, how much you can prepare. Tell us how much we can purchase for government programs. And we said no. We've always said no to My Patriot Supply, and we'll never, ever be selling direct to the government. We sell direct to Americans. But you put this all together, and there's certainly something out there that is driving folks to say that I better get some storable food now because this is becoming a scarce commodity.
Well, that's my question to you, because I'm always selling storable food, and I go out, I get the best company out there. That's who I work with, because I want people to get good food they like. They want to order it again. As a salesman, that's easy. I buy from you. It's part of my insurance. I've got guns, I got storable food, and I got family I can trust and friends I can trust. That's just part of a man being an ant, not a grasshopper. But I had to beg you to come on the show because you're so busy. Let's get into behind-the-scenes stuff. Let's just let total transparency. You guys are trying to decide if you spend every bit of profit you've got to buy food that's now gone way up in price. Because that's how it works in a business. You still care about the customers and the mission, but if you don't make the right decisions, you're out of business. You're like, my God, food prices are going way up. Do we order a bunch more, or do we tell folks, sorry, you're going to get your orders now. The prices have gone up on future orders, and then we're going to shut down like others, because others don't make that gamble. They don't take the profit and put it into food right now. They just sit on a small stockpile, overpriced, sell it, and then when they're done, they're done. That's why you guys are one of the only big companies still operating with high-quality storable food. And that's not a sales gimmick, folks. I've had this company for 11 years because I've been through this. I don't want to have customers go order something and then not get it or they get crap, because that's bad mojo for me. I don't want to piss my audience off. So the fact that you've gotten to the point behind the scenes and you're willing to say it on air that, yeah, our prices are about to go up in a few weeks, and if it keeps on like this, let's just be honest. I was talking to you, and I was talking to the founder, Matt Redhawk. You guys are like, we're going 24 hours a day, and we've got the food. We don't know. This is scary. It's only going up. We just wish this wasn't as big a crisis. We wish it would stop. We're scared. I don't know. We didn't pre-talk about this, but I'm just being honest about the behind the scenes. You've never seen anything like this.
Never like this, and sustained. It started 27 days ago, and it kind of went hyper, and it doesn't fall off. And in even recent days, it's further increasing. Alex, we've doubled the staff. We have bought. You said, are we pushing all the chips in and profit and such? Yes. We've contacted all our suppliers. We're dealing with multiple.
By the way, that's a nervous feeling when you're sitting there with your wife, and every bit of money you got, you pay back in. Because it's like I know that feeling, because other people won't do it. That's my point. You are doing it is why you're the main player.
Absolutely. And so, the semis are rolling, the chips are in, we're producing as much as quickly as possible. Orders that are getting in today, they're going to ship. They're going to just ship in 10 to 14 days because, imagine going through the drive-through at a restaurant that's already busy during lunch.
And by the way, others will lie. They'll go, oh, we've got food, and then they'll take your money.
Oh, they do. And they do. But, that's the case is we deliver, and we have, and we continue to do that. We've done it for a dozen years.
That's why you're my supplier, because I've been through this, and I love our 11-year relationship. I get no complaints. I just get love.
Well, we love to serve, and it's helping Americans get prepared, going direct. None of this in-between stuff with, lines in government and FEMA and all that. We're helping people prepare.
Well, I got to tell you, Keith, I feel good sitting on top 5 years food supply myself to take care of friends and family, and a 6-month supply for the whole office in the warehouse next door to me. And again, it's just, talk about chips, take craps. It's just something you cover. It's a place on the board you make sure is covered. Just like 30 yards from me is a safe full of 50 caliber rifles, MP5s, Reapers, 308s, Lapuas, 338s. And it's not like I'm looking at them every day. I'm some dude petting them. It's just something I've got. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with storable food. And then I've got a safe right through that door full of weapons. And I've got a safe, and I've got people know how to use them right next door. It's what being empowered is all about.
Absolutely. You like to eat daily, and so we're just backing that up. It's the best insurance out there. You can get food today that you can eat 10 years from now at today's prices. And you've got a backup plan should the store shelves go empty, or you're told to stay.
And by the way, think about that, though. The grasshopper dies in the winter, the ant lives on. It's normal to sit on top storable food and guns. All our forebears did it. It's a default normal behavior of free people that we aren't dependent on others. We're not looking for trouble. We've got food, we've got guns, we've got Jesus, we know how to use it. I mean, it really just comes down to that.
We've got a phrase around here, Alex. It's real simple. Noah prepared.
Why do you think it's so big? Why do you think this is the biggest food sale? I mean, am I right? This is the biggest food sale we've ever seen.
This is the biggest of all time for us as we've been in our partnership and business together here. Absolutely. It's because people don't really know because we're not getting the true information. We're having to really dig through the weeds to get the real numbers.
And as we dig through, we find out it's bad.
I don't like the fact that, 4,500 in California, 712 in Washington. There's 40 other states I haven't added up there. What's the real story?
Something's going on. Well, let's get down to brass tacks. You're going to have to go up on prices in, what, a week, 2 weeks? Because I know you're having to buy the food out now. So prices are going to go up when?
Yeah, let's just say 7 to 10 days, Alex, and that's about all we can hold off. We've already got the price increases passed on to us. But, notifying you, notifying, the InfoWars family, let's just say about 7 to 10 days.
So to be clear, I talked to you this morning. You ate the cost. It's already gone up. You just can't keep eating it in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. We have to pass it through here. I mean, it's as we've doubled up staff, we've got our costs too.
All right. Well, InfoWarsStore.com, and I feel good selling high-quality, storable food. Hopefully this thing just blows over. But with the election and the globalist, and this stuff lasts 25 years, it's just good to have the storable food right there and ready. Plus your purchase funds the InfoWar. InfoWarsStore.com, the full list of My Patriot Supply. We've been partners with them for 11 years, for at least 5 years. They're in our back end. So as the orders come in, it's just like ordering from them. It just supports the InfoWar, and it gets right out to you within 10 to 14 days. As price goes up in a week or two, will the delivery time go up too?
At the moment, we're holding a good 10 to 14 days. But, if people keep getting in line, that might even slow it down too further.
And by the way, I mean, everybody knows I don't BS. That's the opposite of what I do. But talking to you and talking to Red Hawk and others, you guys are like cross-eyed. And you're doing a great job, by the way. I mean, you're buying the food up. You got your crews going 24 hours a day, but you've got the problems that happen with 3-4 crews a day going. I mean, let's just say, you guys didn't want me to say this, but you guys are wishing this would go away. I mean, you're killing yourselves right now.
We would like to catch a breath, certainly here, but we're also helping a lot of folks on a lot of levels, if not coronavirus, the hurricanes and natural disasters in some way, shape, or form. Having some food around is the best insurance out there.
And think about this, though. People are getting prepared. That's what really matters. And you're not just cutting the middleman out. This food is there's big studies out. I've got all the marketing around here. You guys are the lowest price out there of any legitimate company. I mean, it's insane. And that's why you're dominant. I remember when I was with Red Hawk 11 years ago, I'm like, well, let's try you out. Listeners love you. A few years later, became my main sponsor. And I'm like, wow, you guys have high quality food at this price? We're like married because you guys deliver. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, no music here as we start the 4th hour. We're preempting a lot of stuff. President Trump just took to the microphone on a criminal justice reform speech. People are expecting him to make a statement on Roger Stone's 3.5-year sentence given down by the Obama dropping Judge Jackson. Here he is.
We are giving him absolute consideration, and I have a feeling he's going to get that full pardon.
That's about right.
I have a feeling. I can't tell you, but I have a feeling.
I know this is a live feed. Man, we missed that by 10 seconds. Maybe somebody else.
Great gentleman. That's the first thing they said to me when I walked in. And but everybody knows who you are. I knew who you are.
Oh,
11 years of
this. That's not Roger Stone.
fantastic.
So we want to hear about.
Tremendous
Hope the black
story.
guy
Thank
gets a
you very
pardon
much.
too. But what about Roger Stone?
I'm going to give him an early congratulations. All right. That's big stuff. That's big stuff. So thank you very much, John. And 2 years ago, I was honored to celebrate your story of faith and transformation as you stood with me in the Rose Garden of the White House. It was a great day, a beautiful day. Now I'm thrilled to come to Las Vegas Police Department, and thank you very much for being what a group that is. That's some job you guys do. Some job you do.
Yeah.
A lot of friends, too. A lot of friends. To take part in your organization's Hope for Prisoners graduation ceremony. We are here to reaffirm that America is a nation that believes in redemption. And that's what it's about, redemption. We believe in second chances, and we want to bring returning citizens great people. Great people, in many cases, great people, and not in all cases. I'm not going to be too politically correct, fellas, right? Not in all cases, but in many cases, we want to rebuild their lives. They want to rebuild their lives. They want to help us.
You know,
and
Trump is
rebuild
human.
Our country.
He's not anti-human. That's why they're pissed. He's just not. He likes people. That's why they're so pissed.
A little bit late with that one, wasn't
You look
it?
at Bloomberg. That dude is. I mean,
thank you.
Wouldn't know a human if he slapped him beside the face.
But to the 29 graduates who are returning to your families, you have paid your debt to society and shown a commitment to change. You've overcome many challenges, broken free of addiction, learned new skills, and replaced old habits with fresh resolve. And John told us just outside a little while ago that it's an incredible class of talent. That word talent is very important. And now you have a chance to begin a new chapter that you are proud to call your own. And I have little doubt you're going to be very, very successful. Your future does not have to be defined by the mistakes of the past. Today we declare that you are made by God for a great and noble purpose.
Well, this is classic liberalism,
I mean,
the opposite of modern leftism.
Great and noble purpose.
Humans are noble and powerful. Everything is pro-human.
Valued members of our American family, and we are determined to help you succeed, and we're going to work with you, and you're going to work with John and everybody else in this really incredible place that you've all put together, John. And you're going to be so successful. You're going to say, I'm going to be more successful than Trump.
By the way, them hearing that will empower them. This is real. This is real. The left says you're a victim, you're a failure. I am not a failure. I will not bow to your BS. You will stop killing babies.
Contribute to your communities. Your best days are just beginning. Best part of your life is beginning. I really believe that. And your greatest years are just ahead. And to all of the family members and loved ones who have been through so much, of the graduates who
just
joined
got
us
to
today,
deliver
we
on
know your journey
prosecuting them and stopping the censorship. Just do it. Do it now.
Support make all of the difference. And we are tremendously grateful for the families, the loved ones. And I know they're even more grateful. Because without them, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here.
It's the real Trump right here. It's not a teleprompter.
So I want to thank you.
All right, we're going to come back in 1 minute. I want to continue with the president. And I know we got Matt Bracken and callers and everything, but this is just so important right now. This is everything. This is a pro-human future. This is it. We have to make it about humans. That's why they tell us men are bad and women are bad and black's bad and white's bad. We're all humans. We got red blood. Let's get it going right now.
Sheldon and Miriam Adelson, and they've been great friends of mine for a long time. Stand up, Sheldon. What a family. What a family. And Miriam is a doctor, a great doctor. She doesn't have to be a doctor. You can trust me, her husband doesn't need the money. But she devotes her life, it's the most important thing to her, to addiction. And every time she learns something new, and there's still plenty to learn, but she'll call me and tell me what they're learning about addiction and the job you do, Miriam, and what you've done, Sheldon, just overall is incredible. And really great. Two great people, just great people. And they like a place called Israel very much. Would you say that's correct? Maybe I have to use the word love, a place called Israel, right? In your case. Thank you as well to Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman for being here. Carolyn, thank you very much. Great job. And also the tireless advocate, because Carolyn has been very much involved with criminal justice reform, along with Jared Kushner, who's been very, very much involved. I don't know. I think Jared, I'm starting. Where's Jared? Thank you, Jared. Look at him. He never wants any credit. He does a lot. He works hard. But that's working out very well, Carolyn, isn't it? It's working out well for everybody, and tremendous support. And we had liberal support, we had conservative support, and they came to me and they needed some help, and we got help from some very unexpected places, votes. We needed votes, and we got some great people, Republicans in all cases in this case, but we got some great people to vote for criminal justice reform. So, in fact, very conservative Republicans, so that was a good sign. Very bipartisan. And it was a terrific thing, and we really, we did something that they've been trying to do for a long time, and we got it done. We get a lot of things done. Now, you see a lot of press back there. So before we go any further, I want to address today's sentencing of a man, Roger Stone. Roger Stone. He's become a big part of the news over the last little while. And I'm following this very closely, and I want to see it play out to its fullest, because Roger has a very good chance of exoneration, in my opinion. I've known, and you people understand it probably better than anybody in the room, I've known Roger Stone and his wife, who's really a terrific woman, for a long time, and Roger's definitely a character. Everybody sort of knows Roger. Everybody knows him, and most people like him. Some people probably don't, but I do, and I always have. He's a smart guy. He's a little different, but those are sometimes the most interesting. But he's a good person. His family is fantastic. He's got a fantastic family, and there's always a reason for that, isn't there? Roger was never involved in the Trump campaign for president. He wasn't involved. I think early on, long before I announced, he may have done a little consulting work or something, but he was not involved when I ran for president. And he's a person who, again, he knows a lot of people having to do with politics. His whole life is politics. That's what he is. And it's my strong opinion that the forewoman of the jury, the woman who was in charge of the jury, is totally tainted. When you take a look, how can you have a person like this? She was a anti-Trump activist. Can you imagine this? Now, you wouldn't know about a bad jury. Anybody here know about bad? No? These people know more about bad juries than everybody here, including the sheriff and the mayor and everybody. They know about bad juries. We're not going to say it too much, so let's not say it in front of more cameras than this.
President Trump is calling for a Roger Stone mistrial right now. This is unbelievably galactic.
Who was an anti-Trump person, totally. Now, I don't know if this is a fact, but she had a horrible social media account. The things she said on the account were unbelievable. She didn't reveal that when she was chosen. And she's, I guess, from what I hear, a very strong woman, a very dominant person. So she can get people to do whatever she wants. And she got on, then she became the four-woman on the jury. And I assume they asked her a question. Do you have any bias? Do you have any? She didn't say that. So
no, we paid for the voir dire documents. We have them. We have lawyers on it.
But does this undermine our fair system of justice? How can you have?
By the way, listeners, you financed
like this? Did she delete her social account? And when Roger was determined by the same jury to be guilty, before the judge issued a sentence, and he was determined to be guilty, and she started going a little wild. She's very happy. And she started saying things that people said, that's strange. That's strange. And then they started looking at, how can you have a jury pool tainted so badly? It's not fair. It's not fair. And, you know, it's not happening to a lot of other people. Because you could look, I won't name names, but everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Hillary.
What's happening over there? Nobody.
McCabe.
Nobody. There are people that are, even in Roger Stone's basic business of politics, that we're going to be in big trouble. Well-known people, the biggest people, big trouble. They were forced to leave their firm. One man was forced to leave his firm, and he was bad things were going to happen to him the following day. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. He was the biggest. Nothing happened. But it happened to Roger Stone, and it happened to General Flynn, and it happened to, I won't name names, it happened to a lot of people and destroyed a lot of people's lives. And I'm here to make a fair system. Again, Rogers is not somebody who worked in my campaign. I know Roger, but a lot of people know Roger. Everybody sort of knows Roger.
Well, I don't put myself in the middle of the story. We had to meet with the FBI. They tried to indict my dad. I mean, I'm not supposed to get into this. I'm not going to, but it's bad, folks. They basically go, you're going to go out against Trump or we're going to indict your father. That's the level. The Washington Post calling up.
Lied. Lisa Page lied. Her lover
And they've just been terrorizing the American people.
Lied.
And it feels so good to watch them going down.
People are. Just trust me. They all lied. You had people that forged documents. You had people that wrote fake
By the way, this
dossiers.
isn't like a victory. It just feels like when you get in a really bad fight and you finally win, the guy's down, you're like bleeding, you're like, well, I'm glad they're down. That's what this feels like right now.
And these people know in the front row, you know better than anybody in this room what the hell I'm talking about, probably.
Oh, my God, it's been incredible.
So I'm only responding to you. I'm not even talking to the folks over there. But they get it better than anybody, too. A lot of bad things are happening, and we're cleaning it out. We're cleaning the swamp. We're draining the swamp. I just never knew how deep the swamp was.
We are. This is incredible.
So if this woman was tainted, I hope the judge will find that she was tainted. And if she isn't tainted, that will be fine, too. But I'm not going to do anything in terms of the great powers bestowed upon a president of the United States. I want the process to play out. I think that's the best thing to do.
Very sophisticated. He's giving him a chance to just go away and drop it because of administrative issues and a mistrial. But you know they won't.
I personally think he was treated very unfairly. They talk about witness tampering, but the man that he was tampering didn't seem to have much of a problem with it. I think they know each other for years.
But there wasn't anything to tamper with.
Like the tampering that I see.
Assange wouldn't give us the time of day. All right. You know, Matt Bracken's coming up in about 10 minutes. I said I'd take a few calls. I got a few final comments to make. But wow, Trump just did a great job. That's Trump without a teleprompter. That's the real Donald Trump, the one we love. But you got to know the deep state's going to strike back after this. Man, they are having their ass handed to them. Roger Stone given 3.5 years. Trump's about to pardon him bigger than Dallas. I'm Alex Jones. This is the front lines of the American fight. All right, I want to go back to the president's speech and then have Matt Bracken, former Navy SEAL, best-selling author, researcher, take over. And I want to talk to Mike in Texas, been holding very, very patiently for over an hour. But Trump's for real. But just like I'm for real, or you're for real, just because you're not out to get people, and just because you love God, doesn't mean you're not fallen. Doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. So we need to stop expecting Jesus Christ out of Donald Trump because he's not that. But you watch this speech about Stone, that's all off the cuff. That's completely real. And if I told you the behind-the-scenes stuff going on, you'd believe it because I don't lie to you. But let's just say things are wild. InfoWars is the foot in the door. We're not the tip of the spear. That's not a... We're the foot in the door. We're willing, when the globalists are closing the door on humanity, to get our actual body in the door. And they just start closing it on us. And it's just breaking our ribs and our, just, you know what, though? We see all those children and innocents that we got to keep the door open for. Because while we're sitting there, it feels like 5 minutes. It's like 1,000 years. Those kids are getting big. They're getting strong. And so by the time that door is halfway cut through and you're bleeding to death spiritually and you're under incredible pain, You look, and the first crop of children are already slaying globalists. They're already winning. They're already taking over. And by the time your heart stops beating and you're being crushed in the door, they're there opening the door, and it's just fresh air starts blowing in. And that's what it's like spiritually. The cavalry come over the hill. But I've seen it. I'm halfway through it, but we have to get there. We have to stick ourselves like our foot in a door that somebody, you ever stuck your foot in the door and they're smashing and they're cramming in there? You got to like say, I kind of like that. In fact, I'm going to stick my arm in the door. In fact, while you're waiting, I'm going to wiggle my body right into that door. Well, let's see you slam that door through my body. And they're going to sit there and slam it and slam it and slam it and slam it. But they are never going to cut your soul in half. And they now know they've been banging that door against us. And instead, we were little and weak when they started slamming the door. Now, we're like a 1,000-pound gorilla with huge arms and big, long teeth and big, powerful white eyes. And now, we're not just in that doorway. We just tore that whole doorway away. And now just ripped off the hinges and are punching giant holes through it and are blowing a giant gap in the enemy defenses. And that's what this is all about, is a spiritual quest. But you've got to get in that door with the devil slamming it into you over and over again, thinking you're going to give up. And every time you don't give up, you get stronger. And the devil just slams it harder. Try that, boom! And you just take that, and pretty soon it's like, that doesn't even hurt anymore. That feels good. And that's where we are metaphysically at that magic moment in society and culture. Because there's not just evil in the universe. And humanity is going to face incredible challenges after this. But right now, we think the challenge we're fighting is big, because it is big right now. There's going to be bigger and bigger challenges. So let's finish up with the president and take a call, and Matt Bracken's going to take over. But this was live. It's now not. We talking about Roger Stone and the upcoming pardon. Here it is.
To his mother and a friend, and they destroyed his life. I let him out. They were considered classified. Now, Russia and China, I guarantee you, have the pictures of this submarine for a long time. The submarine was like 30 years old. They had them in the first year.
45 years old.
They didn't have to wait for the 30th year. But this is a famous story. And they had these pictures, and they put him in jail. He sent them to his mother and to his friend. His friend was not interested in what you're thinking. And there were many other cases. It was a setup.
They dug it out of the landfill. All right, we're going to have Matt Bracken take over. I'm going to take a call right now before he takes over. But the full video is up on Infowars.com, the president right now. The left persecutes normal people to act like they're legitimate when they're the ones selling the country out. The left are the ones that say no borders, no wall, no USA at all. And I will tell you, after 50 years of them sucking off America while we were asleep, the worm is now turning. Mike in Texas, thanks for holding it on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, can you hear me all right?
I can, Mike. Thank you.
I am so grateful. I've been trying to call you for months. Big supporter. I just really kind of want to jump right into it, if that's okay, because
we're not screening your call here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all connected, because if you look at Dr. Charles Lieber from Harvard, you know, you can already sort of kind of find out.
Yeah, they're indicting all the Chi-Com operatives right now.
Yeah, and Skull and Bones and Yale probably do way worse. But with regards to Roger Stone, I do want to say if it did work out any differently, because I got a feeling he's going to be pardoned, but in the event this were to come up for other people, he honestly should get rid of his attorneys at law, because, I mean, those are titles of nobility, and, you know, he should stand in the law, in propria persona, as the attorney in fact, and use his saving to
suitors. Well, spirit's what matters. You can get into legalese all day. I think genuinely they're pissed at Trump being the real president. But you're right. The fact that Harvard and Yale have been indicted as Chi-Com operatives, this lets you know he knows the main enemy. The globalists set China up to take us over. He's cutting them off first. So I have faith the president will take action against the censors next.
Yeah, and I mean the U.S. corporation's bankrupt, man, and we aren't 14th Amendment, citizen slaves. So we should just stand up, like even with the DMV, like don't get those license plates, man. Don't register your vehicle. You're not a birth certificate.
Sure, no. The globalists have all these legalese things, and I get what you're saying. A lot of it's true, but at the end of the day, we need to take the country back and restore American values. Then we can deal with everything else. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. So, like, what would like a day-to-day person like me, in his 20s, still, in quote-unquote school, getting, taught all of this crap, like what
I would go to city council and county commissioners every week and give a 3-minute speech about the world, and that'll dominate them and destroy them until others come and speak. I would start a YouTube show. I'd start an online thing. I would just read InfoWars stories on air. Just doing something. You start taking action, the universe comes to your aid. It's like Martin Luther King said, justice, the universe bends towards justice. It's true. Like Satanists think they've got the devil's power. That's a joke. You start doing the right thing. And the first time they threaten you and you don't back down, all of a sudden it's like you just pass another level. And all of a sudden you've got even more vision. You're like, whoa. And then the next level of persecution you pass, and the next level, God doesn't put you under something you can't handle. So, but it's like exercise. You have to spiritually go through things before doors can be opened, because to those that much is given, much is expected, or the Spider-Man thing, great power comes great responsibility. Does that make sense?
My dad always told me that, sir. Like, I have much respect for you, and I know we're probably short on minutes, but that's the thing is, I'm an eternal being, and I'm not scared of death, and I'm willing to stand up.
Well, good. Just take action in little ways. It's the small steps that build towards the big steps. Don't expect yourself to do some epic master stroke right away. Just speak out and be a good person and take care of your family, and that's all God wants. We'll be right back with Matt Bracken. The sun, it no longer sets me free. That's because you're a devil worshiper. The sun sets me free every day. God made it. I'm very thankful for it. I can be so tired and exhausted, just go lay out in the sun for 30 minutes. I am rejuvenated. Another gift from God. Matt Bracken's about to take over. Briefly, because it's how we fund our operation, DNA Force has been sold out for 4 months. DNA Force Plus, the PQQ, the CoQ10. You're not going to find a formula near this price with this quality anywhere. It's back in stock. 40% off. The 18-wheeler arrived 2 days ago, but I've been so busy I haven't announced it. DNA Force Plus is back in stock at InfoWarsStore.com. Makes your telomeres last longer. Doesn't make them grow, it makes them last longer. Same thing. Half full, half empty. InfoWarsStore.com. Vitamin Mineral Fusion is back in stock, 40% off. Ultra 12, 40% off, 50% off when you get both of them together. I'm going to leave it at that. That's how you fund the operation. And what operation could you fund that has delivered like InfoWars? But all the glory is to God and to you, the listeners, that have supported us. And I mean that. It's God and it's you that have done this. And yeah, we're at the center of the zeitgeist. It's true. I've never held back anything from you, but there's just some things I haven't had time to get to. But let's just say, thank God we got Jesus. Matt Bracken takes over right now. And then the War Room with Owen Schroyer from D.C. Big developments every minute unfolding. Only way to reach new people is you. So thank you, listeners and viewers. Matt Bracken.
Thanks, Alex. And great show. And boy, is Owen Schroyer a strong man or what? I mean, you talk about Daniel going into the lion's den with no fear.
He's God
That's Owen
sent.
Schroyer. Whew. He's rare, but and I have the same thought about Trump with his little speech right now about Roger and criminal justice reform. Courage is contagious. Courage is an example, and that's why you have to keep doing what you're doing. Same with Trump. Roger Stone is essentially a political pawn, a political prisoner in all of this. No different really in his own way than Julian Assange or General Flynn. And what Trump is doing is ripping the mask off of this deep state lawfare project. And I think that it's been in existence. It's been getting worse for decades, but it has existed going back many years. I have heard of cases of people being railroaded, like in the way that Flynn has been railroaded or Roger Stone, but they didn't become national causes. You know, the people that were interested in their particular case could lament how they were being railroaded, but it never became rising to the national consciousness. And that's what Trump is doing. You know, this lawfare project, I call it the four corners or the four-cornered trap. And it's a result of decades now of this Gramscian, the Frankfurt School, Gramscian long march through the institutions, where we now have judges, prosecutors, senior FBI agents, and juries, particularly in D.C., where a conservative doesn't have a chance. I mean, they could send Jesus to the cross. They have absolutely no consideration for the Constitution. Their Constitution is Karl Marx or just pure power. But they wear on their lapel an American flag pin, but in their heart, they're wearing a hammer and sickle. They've gone through high school and college to become dedicated, like infrastructure moles. So you get a judge like Amy Berman Jackson, you get FBI people like Comey, Strzok, Page, you get prosecutors like these four that set Roger up with the 7 to 9 year switch, so that they could then, as part of a plan, resign, knowing that their collaborators in the media would spin it their way. This has been exposed by Trump, and I'm sorry to see Barr, feeling so much heat that he's, I think, I don't know how much of this is like coordinated between Trump and Barr, but I could see Barr quitting. And if Barr quits, it's going to be very hard before the election to get another attorney general confirmed, and a acting attorney general won't have any kind of the power that an actual confirmed attorney general does. If we lose the 2020 election, which seems unlikely, but stranger things have happened, then Barr is gone. Durham's probe is terminated. It'll never be finished. And we're going to be in worse shape than ever because these little cracks of sunlight that Trump has been busting through, this like black crate, this like vault that has been built around us, Trump has been sledgehammering it and showing the weak points in it. Well, if he's not reelected, the deep state is going to come back with extra steel and iron and weld all those cracks shut in a way that we will never, ever be able to get them unwelded. I wish that everybody would go out and, just off the top of my head, 2 books everybody should read by Diana West. One is American Betrayal, and one is The Red Thread, because this is not an accident. It's not a coincidence. And I'm not saying that every deep stater is a closet communist or Marxist, but to varying degrees, they really do lean that way. Even James Comey, whose screen name when he was, lurking on Twitter was Reinhold Niebuhr, who was a Marxist, quote unquote, theologian who preached that Jesus was just the first proto-Marxist and that history is bending towards Marxism. That's James Comey. He was advertised to us as like a Boy Scout, a straight shooter, Mr. Integrity. Well, Mr. Integrity is a closet cultural Marxist. And many of them aren't. Many of them are just purely into power. And they are what I would call the American nomenclatura. That was the special class in the Soviet Union that really ran the entire country. That's like the inner party in Orwell's terms. That in American terms is the senior executive service. And I'm not saying every member of the senior executive service, guys that the Railroad Administration or the FCC are all corrupt cultural Marxists. But the SES grades within Main Justice, FBI, the State Department, these guys absolutely are moles. They're traitors. They're working against American national interest. In their hearts, they believe that globalism is the future, and that we have to reject any form of national sovereignty. They actually believe this. This is why they fight against building the wall. This is why they fight for legalizing the illegals and giving anybody in the country a driver's license and a voter card, because they are actually traitors working against the American people. And what Trump is doing, layer by layer and piece by piece, is exposing it. And I'm really glad that he's not taking the cue from Barr to shut up. This throws it back to Barr to say, are you a man, Attorney General Barr? Are you going to keep fighting? Or when you feel the pressure, are you going to hit the silk and bail out and leave Trump in the lurch? And I think that the answer, I hope that the answer is that Barr's got the cojones, to stand in the breach and take the heat and keep supporting Durham. And if we don't get this solved before the election, it may never be solved. All right, next segment coming up right now, I'm going to talk about coronavirus, COVID-19. It seems like a lot of people are already writing this off for different reasons. A large part of it is that our mainstream media is going along with the official Chinese narrative that it's under control, that cases are tapering off. And I think that this is a big mistake for quite a number of reasons. I'm going to split this into the medical part and then the economic part, and then bring them together with the social ramifications if this thing gets loose in the United States. Now, economically, a lot of China is just shut down. A lot of businessmen are reporting deliveries are not being made. They can't even, in some cases, get phone calls returned from factories that are just closed. So the spillover chain reaction effect of this is going to be felt for a long time. This is another reason why the United States should be self-sufficient. And thank God we have President Trump, who even before this pandemic broke out, was putting us on a course to strengthen America, to bring as much of our supply chains back home as we possibly can. I mean, imagine going to war with China when they make everything we're using. Something like, I've seen repeatedly, something like 80% of our medical supplies come from China. But we're going to fight a war and we're going to ask them to send us the supplies? I mean, it's insane to have a supply chain that leads back to the country that you might be at some point going to war with. And it's not just, simple things that you could set up a factory making your own bandages, sure, but parts to our complicated technological products, parts are produced in China. Without those parts, the assembly plant grinds to a halt. Even if 90% of something is built in America, if 10% comes from China and it doesn't come, then our assembly plant has to lay off workers. So this is another reason why globalism in the end is a weakness. Yeah, the globalists would love us to be tied together into one global Gordian knot that can never be unwound and can never be separated. But this is a huge mistake. And in times of pandemics, modern and more ancient history teaches that defensive quarantines do work. I was looking up for comparisons of death rates and other factors for the bubonic plague in the 1300s, and it turns out that Poland was hardly affected at all because they had a very intelligent king named Casimir who shut their borders. That was in an era when obviously there were no trains or airplanes, but still shutting borders, was effective. Russia is doing that now, and you can imagine the economic consequences in Asian Russia of closing the border to China. No students, no tourists, no businessmen, no Chinese. So defensive quarantines actually do work. I mean, it doesn't mean that we're not going to be affected. We certainly are. But even slowing the onslaught can have a major benefit because we'll learn from China and now Japan, Korea, and even Iran. We're going to learn what are the worst things about it and possible treatments. The Chinese are already learning some medical treatments about this. And I haven't seen any news articles on this yet outside of a website, Western journalism, but apparently COVID-19 is breaking out in Iran. That's a huge country, and it's right in the middle of Central Asia, surrounded by the greatest landmass on Earth. So if COVID-19 gets loose in Iran, how are we going to possibly quarantine Europe? I don't think it's possible. It's going to go right through even faster than Spanish flu or bubonic plague. Plague was spread by ships and caravans very slowly. Spanish flu was spread by troop ships. And in the age of air travel, it's going to be spreading very fast. So I think that people who say, don't worry, it's just affecting Chinese, I think that's, I can't rule anything out. I'm not a medical expert. But I think to be safe, you have to assume that the only difference between China and here is maybe 3 or 4 months of time for it to become embedded and then become a pandemic or an epidemic, and now a global pandemic. This plague ship in Japan is also very instructive because apparently the Japanese have just totally dropped the ball on this. They put bureaucrats in charge of it instead of infectious disease experts. There's some good videos out by Japanese doctors about this problem. And they're still not grasping because bureaucrats are in charge. For some reason, 14 days has become like the incubation period for bureaucrats. If you're not, coughing your lungs out in 14 days, we're just going to let you go and go hop on an airplane, go anywhere. But there's strong evidence that it can incubate for more than 20 days. So they're going to be taking people off of these cruise ships, the one in Cambodia, which already disembarked the passengers, and now the one in Japan, 14 days, no symptoms, you're on your own. Good luck, get on an airplane. This is absolutely going to spread. And where in Asia, in China, Korea, Japan, they might have the necessary social cohesion for people to obey rules on like self-quarantine, wearing masks, things like that. And the average IQ is high enough that most everybody will understand the importance of the epidemic hygiene requirements, the hand washing, the masking, the bleaching your doorknobs and your smartphones. In third world and countries and in American cities, forget it. This isn't going to happen. I know somebody in Manila, a businessman in Manila, 30 million people in a city with the highest population density on the planet, with in many cases open sewers. If it's hard to get a hold of this in a fairly technological city like Wuhan, where the medical establishment is overwhelmed to the point where the hospitals just become mortuaries, then what's going to happen in the third world or in American cities? The numbers are very important to grasp, and I want people to think about this and know these numbers. The confirmed fatality rate when there's first world ICU available, when there's the best medical treatment possible, any medication you need, doctors that are completely in personal protective equipment, is about 2%. But once the number of cases gets large enough and a hospital is overrun, then the fatality rate will go up above 20%. This is like this can be a national weapon of mass destruction at that level. And if in China they can force people to self-quarantine. They have the everybody has to show a QR code on their smartphone all the time, every day. You can be severely punished for being outside without permission. Yet in our country, imagine trying to weld people into an apartment block. It would be gunfire immediately. So that 2% fatality rate, which is best case with everybody getting the best medical care, once an outbreak occurs, 20%, another figure to remember, 20% of cases of people infected will have severe medical consequences like pneumonia. At that point, without that ICU level of care, people will die. With it, you can keep that 2% fatality rate. Without that ICU level of care, 20% plus. So once a city is overwhelmed with cases, it will be like, the Black Death. And that's my fear, that people aren't taking this seriously yet. So by all means, you've got to up your preps for one thing, because you might have to stay inside for a long period. And it's not going to be fun in any circumstances, but if you're starving, you're going to have to go out. Then you're going to be at the mercy of whoever's been handling, the food packaging. It's going to be very grim, folks, unless we just absolutely get totally lucky. This is just the only difference between us and China is maybe 3 months. Japan is maybe 2 months. So we're going to start seeing this creeping outward. And I think by then people are going to be paying a lot more attention. But while you can, get the masks, get the gloves, and visit the InfoWars store, and get your nutraceuticals, because one of the key factors is being as strong as you can going into it. Only the strong are going to survive this thing. And hopefully I survive till next week, and I'll see you again.
Now it's easier than ever to have Band.video on your iPhone. Simply go to Band.video with your Safari browser. Then you click the share button at the bottom of the screen. When the menu comes up, you simply click Add to Home Screen. It will then ask you to name the app. I suggest Band.video. You will now have Band.video app on your home screen, despite the fact that Tim Cook tried to stop it. The globalists think you're lazy, but by taking a little bit of action, you can override them, have the app, and then tell others about it so they can get the app. So it's up to you whether you want to defy big tech and click the share buttons below on your email, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, however you want. Be sure and share Band.video. By the way, when you see his shows on RT, BBC, Al Jazeera, it's so professional.
Totally.
He comes on the show to misbehave. By the way, we were having
because it's weird. It's Austin. Keep it weird. Keep it weird, Austin.
We were having
that's the brand from Austin.
That's it.
What's going on? Oh, don't bring out the 50 caliber again. No, don't do it. I was just trying to. Just because you didn't buy Bitcoin at $1, don't blame me. I begged you to buy Bitcoin at $1, and you said no.
I have the guns, and you don't have anything.
I have Super Silver toothpaste, which is as powerful as all your weaponry in fighting the battle against cavities. Super Silver toothpaste, and it looks really cool. And if you use it, a lot of women will stop you on the street and say, "Hi, I'd like to marry you." Super Silver toothpaste, it's for winners.
Available at InfoWarsStore.com, still at 50% off, ladies and gentlemen.
50% off? That's an incredible deal. You're pointing those Nerf guns at my
powered up right now.
At my twang twang.
You know what that means? One wrong move, buddy. One wrong move.
Wow, that's power.
See that?
That is power.
See that?
That's awesome.
Right in the lens. One wrong move.
Ultimate fish oil.
You actually live in America. The citizens have guns as well as the government.
Reduce your cholesterol levels.
There you go.
Quickly. And that's what you need in a super fish oil. Why sit down to a plate of 50 pounds of cod when you can just pop one of these tablets and get the same benefit? It's Ultimate Fish Oil. Rachel Maddow is Nancy Pelosi's intimate partner. And when they get down with some Ultimate Fish Oil, it's a beautiful thing. And not even AOC can stay away from that union. It's a threesome of socialism.
And it funds our operation.
I just want to say that,
Stop it.
This fish oil product is great. But when I was a kid, we just sniffed glue. That was 15 cents.
And look what it did to you.
I mean, and it worked, right? I mean, I didn't have any ill effects.
Does your shampoo leave your scalp itchy and your hair dry and frizzy? Introducing Emmerich Essentials Natural Herbal Shampoo. made with organic oils for an exhilarating fragrance. Enjoy all-natural and chemical-free shampoo for a healthier you. Gentle enough for color-treated hair and sensitive scalps. Only pure, organic, antiseptic herbs that have demonstrated antimicrobial activity are used. Go natural. Go organic. No parabens or sulfates. Nothing to weigh you down. Get cleaner, healthier hair with Emmerich Essentials Tea Tree Shampoo.
Real stuff, man. We're talking about the real deal here. And I love Trump all day long, but man, I tell you, he sits there and lets these big tech people keep running roughshod over him. Everybody, I mean, I've got a problem. And we'll just take the Trump rallies over. That said, about 2 months ago, I came up with a plan that I haven't launched yet. We have a warehouse full of hundreds of thousands of stickers, 20 different stickers. Impeach the Democrats, save the Second Amendment, defend the First Amendment, Infowars.com. And it looks like duct tape, but it's just a regular sticker. You put it over your mouth, you go to a Trump rally, and you instantly take over without even disrupting things. People say, why are you doing this? What's happening? Well, you go, well, we're being censored, and Trump won't do anything about it. And Dr. Pieczenik, let me just ask you what you think, because I've not launched this yet.
It's brilliant. You've taken the very element that they try to repress you with, that silence, and made it into a weapon. You have the loudest sound of all, silence. And you know what's most disturbing to people? Silence.